Kate Griffin. Captains for the Wolverines, number 10, Trenton Hoops. Number 32, Trevin Blazer. Number 1, Carson Bishop. And number 57, Jackson Weibling. Joining our captains tonight is our FB&T kickoff kid. Our kickoff kid for today's game is Garber third grader Dante Amesbury. Covington has won the toss and elected to receive the opening kickoff.
For more than 100 years, Oklahoma Career Tech has been training skilled and dedicated individuals, giving clear career paths to over 90,000 graduates a year. These individuals are the heartbeat of the Oklahoma workforce, serving thousands of companies, fueling this state's economy. Oklahoma is powered by Career Tech.
The High Plains Insurance Agency takes pride in keeping up with many changes in the crop insurance industry and keeping their insurers informed of these changes. The goal is to help each farmer customize their crop insurance to meet their needs. Thanks for your continued business, and remember, call Amy, Carissa, or Danny at High Plains Insurance in Medford and Loyal at 580-395-2447 or toll free at 1-800-346-4056 for a quote today.
Imagine a school with more than 26,000 enrollments per year, cultivating opportunities for students to develop new skills and gain industry-recognized certification. Now imagine a corporate training center that partners with more than 500 local businesses each year, providing a productive and prepared workforce for employers in Oklahoma through customized training. Now, imagine a community resource who believes our business thrives when our community thrives. We aren't just the local VOTEC, we are Autry Technology Center.
Stream with Oklahoma's #1 high school streaming service, Squirtle.tv. Find out more at squirtle.com/stream.
Is your school or booster club looking for ways to fundraise? Let Downtown Threads create a custom website to showcase all your school apparel. You pick the design and the garment, we do the rest. We will handle all the payments and cut you one check when the website is closed. Call today, 580-237-7060. Downtown Threads, proudly supporting all local high school athletes.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news! The movement experts at Physical Therapy Central can help you find relief and results and keep you off the sidelines. With over 30 convenient locations across Oklahoma City and beyond, contact PT Central today at ptcentral.org to see a physical therapist.
At Maples Nixon Diesel Horse, we've helped a lot of people, and our goal was to treat each and every person like a friend. And as a friend, we've got your back always. We understand what you're going through. Being lawyers is what we do, but it's not all that we are. We care. We'll stand beside you throughout the entire legal process, not just as lawyers, but as your friends. We are Maples, Nixon, Diesel Horst, and we are here to help.
Dr. Matt Dieselhorst at Dieselhorst Sports and Orthopedics can help you get game day ready. Dr. Dieselhorst works with athletes of all ages, taking a coordinated approach to accelerate return to play and maximize athletic performance. His work with pros in sports training, injury prevention, bracing, functional rehabilitation, and imaging works seamlessly with his medical and surgical expertise. Get started by going to Dieselhorst Sports and Orthopedics. Let Dr. Matt Dieselhorst get you back on the field, backing all Oklahoma athletes on the field and off.
Born and raised in Edmond, Oklahoma, Trevor Randall is very familiar with the area and the Oklahoma economy. Trevor enjoys helping customers just like you identify the insurance coverage that best fits their needs, with over 19 years of experience to help you better understand the options, whether that's auto, home, renters, business insurance, and more. So give Randall Insurance Agency a call at 405-341-7878 and let us help you get the protection you need with the service you deserve.
So, not real big on paying bank fees? Well, that's okay. It means you're smart with your money and you know how to get a good deal. You're a credit union kind of person, and Communication Federal is your kind of credit union. In fact, Pay Me Checking puts real money right into your account every time you use your Visa debit card, online or in stores. Pay Me Checking, the free account that pays you only from Communication Federal Credit Union.
Day in and day out, you're committed. Every practice, every training, every game, every meet, you put in the work. Your fans may not see it, but you do. You have a story to tell, a personal brand, a career to launch, and an audience to connect with. Take control of your story with Athleon.co. You're doing the work. You deserve to benefit from it.
Alva State Bank and Trust Company. Older than Oklahoma, big enough to serve you, and small enough to know you. We've been around since 1901, proudly serving the communities of Northwest Oklahoma and Southern Kansas. We're making banking easy. Whether you're at home, in the office, or waiting for the next quarter to start, our online or mobile banking options help you to juggle busy schedules and financial needs. So stop by and see us at any of our locations in Alva, Burlington, Freedom, Enid, and Kiowa, Kansas. We plant roots where others have branches. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Anger, anxiety, worry, and disbelief, these are normal emotions to feel with an unplanned pregnancy. You have options, and you are not alone. Hope Pregnancy Center in Alva is a safe, confidential, and compassionate place to land. Hope offers free pregnancy testing and ultrasound, and you will be provided education for all your options. Remember, you aren't alone. We can help with hope. Visit thinkimpregnant.org. That's thinkimpregnant.org.
Are you looking for a local, reliable propane provider? Earnhardt Oil and Propane has been serving customers throughout Oklahoma since 1971. Let them tailor a pricing option to fit your budget. Avoid winter price spikes with easy pay, steady, predictable monthly payments you can count on. Need more fuel options? They also offer bulk fuel delivery, DEF, lubricants, and supplies for your business, all at competitive prices. For reliability 3 generations strong, call Earnhardt Oil and Propane at 866-270-1279 or visit www.earnhardtpropane.com.
When your business is agriculture, you want a bank behind you that doesn't cut and run at the first sign that there will be some tough times ahead. There are good years and there are always bad years. At Farm Credit of Western Oklahoma, we're here for them all. Agriculture, it's the backbone of our local community. We believe in it. We invest in it. We're here for the long haul. If you're in agriculture, it's time to let Farm Credit of Western Oklahoma make your best even better. Contact a loan officer today. Farm Credit of Western Oklahoma, the area's leading lender in agriculture.
Wiggins auctioneer.
Under a partly cloudy sky with a warm temperature of 81 degrees and a windy breeze out of the southeast at 21 miles per hour, we welcome you live to the campus of Garber High School in Garber, Oklahoma, and Warrendale Stadium for week 4 of the high school football season. And tonight, it is a pair of rivals going at it, separated by just 9 miles on State Highway 74. It's the 2-1 Garber Wolverines and the 4-0 Covington Douglas Wildcats. Hello again, everybody, and good evening. I'm Todd Miller, along with Adam Dieselhorst and our Squirtle crew here on hand. Glad to be with you for what is going to be a terrific Northwest Oklahoma football matchup. And Adam, both teams are a little bit in a gray area, if you will, especially the Garber Wolverines, who have their starting quarterback out. Trevin Blazer, an outstanding player both ways. He is listed at questionable as best. Do they hold him out a second week? Because, well, you want to beat your rivals. There's certainly bigger games going forward to be played.
Yeah, I mean, obviously health is of foremost importance, and obviously, you know, health matters at any level, but in 8-man, you lose 1 or 2 guys, and it can really change the complexity of how the game goes. I think you play him if he feels like he's ready to play. Like you said, this is one of the biggest rivalries in the state, and 8-man, like you said, only separated by 8 miles, so I would say play him.
Garber's road to a 2-1 start. They have won at Canton 52-6, beat Summit Christian here in week 2, 64-14. Last week they went on the road and lost to a good Drumright team, 80-46. Covington Douglas, preseason pick second in Class B District 3 behind the ceiling Wildcats, opened up with a game that we hope you enjoyed here in week 0 on Squirtle against Timberlake. Covington Douglas winning at home over the Tigers, who a lot, including myself, think may win Class C. Wildcats beat Timberlake 22-6. They followed that up with a home field victory over Medford 60-12. Last week they beat a really good Ringwood team as well, 44-22 on the road, and then of course demolished Deer Creek Lamont in their last outing, 64-14. But when these schools get together, you can throw out records. If both are healthy, this has a chance to be a really good football game. Last year we did the game in Covington. Garber was a little bit beat up, and the game got out of hand quickly. I expect a much different game tonight, despite no Brett Howery at quarterback.
Yeah, I think regardless, Garber has the firepower. They've got the skill position players and the coaching staff to, you know, obviously ensure that this game stays competitive. And, you know, in these rivalry games, emotion has a lot to do with it. Super impressed so far early in the season with Covington. We called their game, that first game of the year against Timberlake. They're balanced. I think they're better defensively than they have been in the past, which is something that kind of separates them. And if Garber does win this game, they're going to have to play very mistake-free and obviously rely on some guys to do some things that they're not used to relying on.
Covington playing a team out of Class B District 3 for the second time in 3 weeks. 2 weeks ago, they won on the road at Ringwood 44-22. Ringwood behind OBA and picked just ahead of Garber in the preseason coaches Class B District 2 poll.
Is a full-service auction company well-versed in selling farm and range.
The first quarter, and really, Adam, as we talked about before we came on, this is one of the few times in 4 or 5 weeks of the high school football season, regardless of where you go in the state of Oklahoma, that you can sit and even talk about the wind being a factor.
Yeah, we haven't seen that at all. It's strange. You know, it was super hot the first couple weeks. The last couple weeks, the evenings have been perfect for football, but we're in Oklahoma, and I believe the line is the wind comes sweeping down the plains, I believe is what they say, and we really haven't experienced that yet. And so this is kind of our first game, and obviously that's going to be in the face of somebody traveling from north to south.
Nicholas Nahara, a sophomore, number 10, with the maroon 10 on the back of the anthracite gray uniforms tonight for Garber. They're unveiling a new look here tonight. Covington Douglas, as you see, in the home white and blue. So Nahara will kick it away to the always dangerous return man, Gavin Hooten. He stands at the 15. You would think Nahara would have a chance to put the ball very deep on this kickoff, if not into the end zone, with that wind again up over 20 miles per hour to his back. And here we go, and it is a miss kick, honestly. It didn't even go 10 yards. He hit the top of the football, and it's going to roll out of bounds at the 47-yard line in Garber's end of the field, and Nahara barely hit the top of the football. It was a miss kick, and he was very fortunate that he even made contact with the football. Unfortunately, it's going to be a terrible start field position-wise for the Wolverine defense.
I love the idea. I like the idea of coming out, trying to catch him off guard with an onside. But like you said, he just missed the top half of the ball, and this gives Covington great field position.
Covington Douglas will start at the 42-yard line of Garber. Their quarterback is a 2.5-year starter, Ford Smith, the youngest of two sons to play for Brian Smith, the head coach. Ford Smith, 6'1", 162 pounds, and a junior. Of course, his brother, Parker, was an outstanding player for the Wildcats before departing due to graduation last year. Ford Smith, a 61% completion percentage of the year. Where's Double Deuce, number 22? They go with a couple of wing backs. Now they motion Gavin Hooten to the near side. They'll fake the handoff, and Ford Smith with running rubies to the 35 and a good open field tackle. Boy, he stood him up and dropped him right to the turf. And that was Domingo Ramirez, the corner. And, boy, that was a good tackle because it looked like it was going to go for a lot more. Second down and 2 after Ford Smith gains 8 on his first carry. He averages almost 9 per game on the ground. They'll hand it off with a sweep to the near side. It's Gavin Hooten. He gets hit by Seth Smith, is able to get free from him, and then is down to the 29-yard line. That'll be enough to move the sticks, but Seth Smith, the junior outside linebacker with 13 tackles, 2 of those for loss and a sack, had him about a half-yard short of the first down marker. Line of scrimmage at the Wolverines' 29-yard line. The setback is Miguel Tarango, a 5'7", 143-pound junior. Wide receivers left and right. And now the motion Hooten to the far side. Ford Smith hands it off. Tarango stacked up, bounces out left, breaking tackle, still keeping those thick legs churning. And he is all the way down just inside the 25, close to the 24. That was a really hard-fought 5-yard run by Miguel Tarango, who averages almost 4.5 yards per carry in his 24 attempts coming in.
Yeah, momentarily looked like they had him stacked up in the backfield, but good job by Tarango to stay behind his blocker and gain positive yardage.
So a couple of missed tackles, the last 2 offensive snaps for Covington Douglas against this Garber defense. 4th play of the drive upcoming for the Cats at the 24-yard line of Garber. We played almost 2 minutes here in the opening quarter. Hooten motions to the far side. They'll fake the handoff, and straight ahead it's Ford Smith with running room, and he's off to the races, and he's gone. But it's coming back. A flag comes down at the 10-yard line, and there was a hold against Covington Douglas that's going to negate a run of what would have been 24, and the 11th rushing touchdown the 7th rushing touchdown of the year for Ford Smith.
Well, yeah, that was a very obvious holding call on this side of the field, so that thing will be coming back, but another great play design for Covington.
Referee tonight is William Whitmire. He leads a 5-man officiating crew, and here is Whitmire in the white cap holding the call, as we told you, against Covington Douglas. So that will negate a 24-yard touchdown run. Again, would have been the 7th scoring run of the year for Ford Smith. And the Cats now will have it at the 22-yard line, and that will bring up 2nd down and 3. So they get the down over. The 24 yards come off the board. However, they gained 2 yards on the prior snap. So it's going to be 2nd down and 3 at the 21-yard line. Hustling in is Miguel Tarango. He'll line up to the near side. Covington Douglas with the receiver to the far side. That's Hayden Williard. In the backfield is Hooten. They hand it off to Gavin, tried to pick his way forward, ran right into Carson Bishop, who twists him backwards. And it's going to be a small gain of about a half yard, so it's going to be 3rd down, and we'll call it 3 again at the 21 or 22-yard line of the Wildcats, or the Wolverines.
We're having some technical difficulties with the clock, so it's 9:47 and ticking, just to give people out there an idea.
No score. Covington Douglas 2 snaps ago had a 24-yard touchdown run called back because of a hold. They have a triangle formation of receivers to the far side. Hooten motions to the near side, and now everybody was moving. That's going to cost them 5 more yards. So Brian Smith, who's already about 3 steps out of the field to the far side, cannot be happy at him with the way this game has started. I mean, it's been sloppy from a Covington Douglas standpoint after they were gifted great starting field position by the underclassman kicker Nicholas Nahara. So it's 3rd down and 8, back at the 27-yard line. 9.5 minutes to go, opening quarter. There's no score. Todd Miller, Adam Dieselhorst with you on Squirtle tonight, the game of the week, brought to you by High Plains Insurance. 2 receivers left, out of the gun. Smith on a little slip screen, has a receiver. He'll bounce out left. He's got running room to the 10, to the 5, and he's in for the touchdown. That's Camden Thayer, the 5'9", 162-pound junior. And they diagnosed the defense perfectly and ran a screen to Thayer, who takes it in for the touchdown.
Great play call again. Taking advantage of Garber's aggressive defense. And despite the penalties here early, Covington still converts.
8th reception for Thayer. And for Camden, that is his 3rd receiving touchdown. Covington Douglas will go for 2. They're 14 of 25 on 2-point tries this year. Jackson Weebling will come in as one of the down linemen on a substitute. He'll line up on the right side of the defensive front. Covington Douglas 14 of 25 for the season on 2-point tries. Ford Smith rolls right, now reverses left, circles all the way back to the 15, throws to the end zone. It's broken up and intercepted. So the try for 2 will fail. And we get a timeout. 9:17 to play in the first quarter. Covington Douglas takes advantage of good starting field position. They lead Garber 6-0 here with the High Plains Insurance Squirtle game of the week.
Land, minerals, commercial and residential properties, as well as equipment, estate, and trust liquidations. In order to better serve our clients, Wiggins Realty offers conventional for-sale listings as well as buyer representation. Whether buying or selling, auction or conventional, we want to be your trusted company. Wiggins Auctioneers, 3 generations strong and setting the standard since 1963.
This is Game Time. Neptune Game Time creates a high-energy game day atmosphere that your players and fans will love. Every song in our database is 100% lyric safe, which means you can stop screening music for good. Game Time also provides custom messaging to help you promote your upcoming events, concessions, and event-specific announcements. And it gives you the opportunity to sell sponsorships on your station that will generate revenue for your athletic department. Amp up your game day with Game Time.
Why be a Ranger? At Northwestern with small...
Ford Smith will kick it away into the wind to Mark Bishop, who stands back at the 19-yard line for Garber. 6-0 on a 2-minute, 43-second drive. And this one is a little sky kick up the middle, and it's going to be caught by Weibling at the 49-yard line. So both teams with good starting field position here early. Covington Douglas at the Garber 42, and now the Wolverines at their own 49. 9:17 to play, first quarter. 6-0 our score. Carson Bishop, who usually is the tailback, will come out and be the quarterback. Seth Smith is the fullback. He's in the backfield, and Mark Bishop is behind Carson Bishop. Those two are cousins. Carson gets the exchange, hands to Bishop. Bishop then is hit and drugged down. Cash Pearson got him by the ankle after a 1.5-yard gain. Ball just inside CD territory. 2nd down and 8.
I really like that formation for Garber. If they don't make that tackle there, Bishop's got a lot of green in front of him.
Obviously, there's a reason Howry is the starting quarterback. He's the best at the position. But I'll tell you what, with Carson Bishop back there, he now has the ball in his hands every snap on offense. Second down, a long 8. They will motion a man from right to left. That's Cooper Hughes to the right side of the line of scrimmage. It's a read by Bishop. He's hit in the backfield, got free of one defender. Blake Hamlet hit him first, and then Pearson again covers him up. That play, too slow developing, goes for a loss of almost 3 back into Garber territory at the 48.
Well, this is something that we saw in the first game against Timberlake. I mentioned it early on in the kind of the intro, Todd. One of the biggest differences I've noticed from Covington is on the defensive side of the ball. And a lot of times if you want to take that next step to possibly battle for a quarterfinal, semifinal, finals game, you have to be good on the defensive side, Nate, man.
Derek Doherty also had good pursuit to the football. He was in there, so he'll get a half tackle along with Pearson for a loss. And now it's third down and long for Garber at their own 48-yard line. Exactly 8 minutes to go here in the first quarter. It's 6-0 CD, going 5 plays, 42 yards on their opening drive. 2 receivers to the far side. Now Bishop motions, and the snap came back to him. He's able to handle it after he juggled it. He runs left and is tackled by Ford Smith for a yard gain to the 49. And that play, Adam, was nearly disastrous as the snap was coming back to Bishop, but Mark Bishop cut in front of him from right to left, juggled the snap because it hit him right in the number 4. And by that time, Covington Douglas able to rally.
Yeah, once again, you see Covington Douglas's pursuit in the backfield. You had both Smith and Daugherty were right there to make the tackle. So interesting, something to keep an eye on.
Garber in punt formation back at the 42-yard line, and the punt is away from Seth Smith. That's a dandy of a punt. It hits at the 5 of the wind of his back. It takes a left bounce and goes into the end zone for a touchback. But, boy, that's a terrific job by number 84, Seth Smith, the junior, on the punt. So Covington Douglas leading 6-0 with 7:08 to play in the first quarter. Will have it first down and 10 for their second offensive series of the night. First and 10 at the 20, 7:08 to go here in the first quarter. Glad to be with you from Garber tonight here on Squirtle. Our second time to see the Covington Douglas Wildcats. We saw them in week 0, 22-6 over Timberlake in Covington, just 9 miles down the road. One back set, and Ford Smith is out of the gun. Now they'll motion Taranko to the far side. Ford Smith keeps it, bouncing left, is close to a first down as he's tackled to the 27 at the end of the play. A flag comes in late. Nahara was the one that made the stop. Now we'll have to read the flag. Looked like he was going to get across the 28, close to the 30. They stopped him 3 yards short. Here's the indication for the referee. It's a sideline warning against Covington Douglas. So it'll be second down and short. The run of 7 stands. It'll bring up second down and 3 at the 27-yard line. Clock winds under 7 minutes to play here from Warrendale Stadium. A good crowd, as you might expect, for the renewal of the War on 74. Hooten is in the backfield, or that's Tarango as Hooten motions to the near side as the snap comes back from Trevor Frank. There was movement, and that's going to be the 3rd penalty, the 2nd false start against Brian Smith's ball club here in the first quarter.
Well, and you mentioned it on the first drive, and Covington was able to overcome their penalties. But once again here, big play on the first down, and then you go back 5 yards. That's got to be very upsetting for Coach Smith and his staff.
Hooten and Griffin are split to the near side. Tarango was in the backfield. Ford on a little slip screen throws for Cade Griffin, breaking tackles. He's close to the first down, and I believe he has it. He's spun down at the 31-yard line. Perfect call on a second down and 8. They needed that, and that's what they got. Now they're looking at it, and they're going to say third down in inches as the nose of the football is literally against the 30-yard line. So it's 3rd and 1. Covington Douglas tonight, 1 for 1 on third down tries. Tarango in the backfield. They'll throw it out left. Ball is caught, and that's a first down reception by Camden Thayer as he ushers himself out of bounds at the 36-yard line. So he picks up 7. Thayer's second catch of the night. His first went for 6 on a 27-yard screen pass from Ford Smith.
At their own 36-yard line.
Can Garber's defense get off the field? That's a big question against this very explosive Covington Douglas offense. 2 receivers to the near side. Tarango offset to Ford Smith's right. Now Hooten starts to motion. He lines up in a slot. They fake the handoff. Here comes the pressure, and he's swollen under and sacked. Trenton Hoops, the senior bookend, got there and sacks him back at the 22-yard line, or make that 27, so a loss of 9, and maybe that is the stop that the Wolverine defense will need to get going.
Well, and that's big with the kind of offense that Covington runs They've been very successful in the screen game stuff, so look for that here.
5:15 and counting to go, first quarter. 6-0 Covington Douglas, 2nd and 19. Ford Smith the throw, rolls right. Now he's flush for the pocket. He is going to run, and this is when he's dangerous. 40, first down at the 45, down the numbers to the 50, to the 40. He may go 30, 25, 20, 15. Jitterbugs at the 10, and then finally is shoved out of bounds by Mark Bishop inside the 10-yard line. But Bishop would not bite on the little jitterbug right to left fake by Ford Smith, as Bishop was the only last line of defense for Garber at a long touchdown run.
That's just such a threat to have when you can fling the ball around, and then anytime there's space, Smith just took off, and really he showed his speed.
65 yards on the run. It's first down and goal to go at the 8-yard line. Out of the backfield, it is Thayer. He's going to keep it as they went with a wildcat, and Thayer is cut down at the 4-yard line. So he gets half of the yardage needed. It's second and goal to go with 4.5 minutes to play in the first quarter.
Run by number 18, Camden Thayer.
So we've seen Thayer featured on a couple of screens and now out of a wildcat formation. Second and goal to go. This will be the 7th play of the Covington Douglas drive. They've overcome a false start after starting back at their own 20. Key run, 65 yards for Ford Smith. Smith is back out there as the quarterback with Miguel Taranco offset to his left. Wide receivers split both ways. Look this way for Gavin Hooten, the slot back senior. Ford Smith runs left, and he's in for the touchdown. And, boy, he knew it from the 2-yard line. He started to put his hand in the air as to say touchdown. And now Smith has run for a score and thrown for one. The lead goes to 12-0 for Covington.
And that was fairly easy for Covington, pretty much just a QB kind of sweep off the edge there, and good blocking up front by the big guys, and 2 scores quickly for Covington here in this first quarter.
That run will stand. That now is officially rushing touchdown number 7 of the season for Ford Smith. Again, he had a 27-yarder or 22-yarder run called back on the first drive. Now they'll go for 2. Camden Thayer in the Wildcat. They fake the handoff, and Thayer is swallowed under. And he is denied again. Seth Smith was the one in the backfield that slowed him down. He won't get credit for the tackle, but the defense cleaned up from that point. So, time out of the field, 4:05 to play first quarter. On the High Plains Insurance Game of the Week, it's Covington Douglas 12, Garber nothing.
Classes, you can be seen. With over 40 programs from business to nursing, you can be career driven. With a campus home away from home, you can be independent. With over half our students graduating without student loans, you can be debt-free. And with a mosaic of cultures, you can be you. Northwestern, success lives here.
Dr. Devin Nightingale is your chiropractic choice in North Edmond with easy access from Cashion, Guthrie, Luther, and all the Oklahoma City surrounding areas. As a former college athlete, Dr. Nightingale understands the importance of a fully functioning body to gain that competitive edge. Also certified in prenatal and pediatric treatments, Dr. Nightingale sees all types of patients, ranging from 2 weeks old to 97 years old. We offer conservative treatments to get you back in the game, whether you're a weekend warrior or a professional athlete. So give us a call at 405-471-5565 for a free consultation today. Is your spouse
12 of the 15 plays, nearly one quarter into this ball game, have been run by Covington Douglas. The Wildcats with a 12-0 lead as Ford Smith places the ball on the tee, and you can actually see it blow off of the tee. Justice Hooten is actually going to kick it off and not Ford Smith. Mark Bishop, as he was the last time, but waits for the kickoff. This time he scoots up about 6 yards to the 25. Another sky kick, and this won't go 10 yards, so it will be caught at the 49-yard line by Garber. But maybe it was Cooper Hughes, I believe it was, that made the catch. And so Garber gets a short field starting at the 49-yard line.
And just as a reminder, there's 4 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the first quarter. We're having technical difficulties still with our clock.
12-0 our score, 4:05 to play here in the opening quarter. Todd Miller, Adam Dieselhorst to the crew with you tonight from Warrendale Stadium in Garber. It is a beautiful night. Little warm, felt like 85 at game time. Temperature in the air was actually 81, and the winds out of the southeast at about 21 miles per hour. Back to throw, Carson Bishop. The snap was low. He throws left, and the ball sails off the fingertips of his cousin Mark Bishop, and right there with him step for step was Cash Pearson. He's off to a great start defensively tonight for the Cats. I watched Carson a little bit in the pregame warm-ups down to the field. He was having a little bit of trouble adjusting to the touch, Adam, with that wind to his back.
Yeah, that's tough, getting a start at quarterback and having to deal with this wind. Even people don't realize the wind at your back can be just as effective sometimes, too.
Clock stops, 4 minutes to go first quarter, 12-0 Covington Douglas. Wide receivers go left and right. Domingo Ramirez to the near side. Mark Bishop with an empty set, split wide right. Carson Bishop gets the snap back from Berlon. He's going to keep it with running room. 40, 35, and he's off to the high race. 20, 10, 5, and a good tackle from behind by Gavin Hooten. Trips him up as it looked like Carson Bishop was headed to the house. Instead, it's going to be first down and goal to go, pending the flag on the play.
Well, and he actually tripped the runners. That's going to be a personal foul on Hooten there because he literally swept his leg. Be interesting.
You're right. It looked like he at least initially grabbed him, but you're right. It was his foot that was stuck out, so it's going to be a tripping penalty called on Gavin Hooten. But at least for the time being, if you're Covington Douglas, you have preserved the shutout of the lead, which is 12-0. Here is William Whitmire, and it's a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Covington Douglas. It'll be half the distance to the goal, and that should place the ball at the 3-yard line. So a 43-yard run and 3 yards on the penalty. It's first down and goal to go at the 3-yard line. Well, this is a huge series for the Wolverines and head coach Coy Hughes if they can find a way to get back in this ballgame. The center is Jason Berlon. He is a senior. In fact, they have 2 seniors and a junior on their 3-man offensive front. Mark Bishop is back in a pistol formation behind Carson Bishop with Domingo Ramirez split to the near side. Carson gets the exchange, hands it straight ahead to Mark Bishop. He's hit, bounces right, and he's in for the touchdown. Looked like a pinball. He went hard left between Weibling and Berlon, the guard of the center, that bounced off of contact and took 2 steps right for the first Garber touchdown of the night.
Well, and that is such a big answer for Garber. Obviously, things did not look like they were going well for them, and to answer here to make it 12-6 and possibly 12-8 with a conversion would be huge.
Mark Bishop with his 5th rushing touchdown. Look for him in this situation as well. He already has scored a couple of 2-point conversions of the year. 3:40 to go in the first quarter. Carson Bishop gets the exchange, drops, throws the slant over the middle, incomplete. He was looking for Domingo Ramirez, and we've had 3 scores, and the teams are combined 0 for 3 on point after tries. Timeout, 3:40 to go, first quarter from Garber. It's Covington Douglas 12, the Wolverines 6. This is the High Plains Insurance Squirtle Game of the Week.
Fixing the scoreboard.
Todd Miller, Adam Dieselhorst, the crew with you here from Warrendale Stadium in Garber. A windy night here in Northwest Oklahoma. 3:40 to go in the opening quarter, 12-6. I think we have the makings of a shootout tonight. That's a lot of times what you get in 8-man football.
Yeah, and the kind of explosive athletes you see on both sides of the balls, we've seen just, 8 minutes into this first quarter. I mean, I have a feeling we're going to see that for the remaining 3 quarters.
You hate to say this, especially with still over 3 minutes to go in the first quarter, but one wonders if that hadn't been the ball game, if Garber could not have found a way to get into the end zone, because they've had trouble stopping Covington Douglas, who has run 12 plays, has 122 yards of offense and 2 scores. Here is Nicholas Nahara. as he places the ball on the tee, and this time it's an onside kick. It's played through, and falling on the ball and going to an E is Camden Thayer. So good starting field position it in for Covington Douglas at the 42-yard line. How about this starting field position? At the Garber 42, at their own 20, they used a 67-yard or 65-yard run. And now they started their own 42-yard line. Well, there apparently was a flag on the play, and I did not see the signal. Covington Douglas has the return unit out there on the field, and it looks like Garber is huddling up and about to kick it away again. So I was mentioning the fact the Wildcats had started at their own 42. They could start even better here. The ball has to go at least to midfield before the Wolverines will have a chance to recover it. Nahara, on his first onside kick attempt, nearly missed the football. It was a missed kick. That one was a much better one, but for some reason they'll do it all over again. Nahara this time squibs it to the left side, and the ball's free. Covington Douglas had it, and it popped out, and Garber, I think, has come up with it. The Wolverines have come up with the football. It hit initially Blake Hamlet. It popped off of his chest, and Garber has recovered at the 47-yard line. There's a flag down, and we may have a third kick on this try for Nahara. That is an absolute break for Covington Douglas.
That could have been a big, big change.
Offside's the call against Garber. So, again, 2 kicks ago they had a chance to start at the 42.
Well, on top of all that, Todd, I finally got the clock to work, but now it's not working again. So
3:39 to go here in the first quarter. It's working. 12-6. I'll cheat.
Trenton Harmon is in the house. Look at that. Caddo Bruin head coach.
35-yard line is where they'll kick it. And this time it's kicked to the near side. Takes a big friendly hop, and Cash Pearson has it. So it'll be first down and 10 from there. And instead of 3 kicks ago, started to their own 42, they're going to start their second of 3 drives tonight at or near midfield, officially at the 50-yard line.
Well, and that's where they've been, Garber's been content with just kind of squibbing kicks. You see that a lot in 8-man football. I don't know how valuable field position technically is with these explosive offenses, so you're trying to see if you can't get a squib or an onside.
2 receivers left. One to the near side is Gavin Hooten. Out of an empty set, it's Ford Smith. He'll throw a little slip screen for Hooten. Hooten cuts inside, bounces left, stretches out. He's inside the 45, down to the 43-yard line. And it looked like there might have been a block in the back that the Wildcats got by with.
One thing I've noticed about Smith, his ability to get these quick game passing stuff, he's really good at the short stuff. You don't see that a lot of times at the, smaller levels in high school. He's got great timing.
Saw him come in at a game his freshman year. His brother Parker had started. Ford came in, finished up a game against Timberlake, and that was the first game of his high school career some 3 years ago. 2nd and 7. Ford Smith keeps it running right, breaking tackles. First down inside the 35. He's down to the 33-yard line. So 10 more for Ford Smith, who came in averaging over 8 yards per carry, nearly 9, and it now is over 550 rushing yards for the season.
Well, he is so dangerous once he decides to tuck it down and go. He's really smart about it, too.
Well, Parker was that way. Ford is that way. You can tell that they are coaches' kids. 2:41 in Canada play, first quarter, 12-6. Now it's Hooten on a jet sweep. A flag comes down as Hooten is grabbed by the jersey and tackled out of bounds inside the 35-yard line, but that's coming back. Flag thrown behind the play. It is a hold against Covington Douglas, who continues to self-destruct in the penalty department. In 4 games, they had been penalized a total of 29 times. They have almost a sixth of those, that being their fifth here, and there's still 2.5 to go in the first quarter.
Well, and every time on the offensive side, they've been able to capitalize, yet still getting penalties. So we'll see if that happens on this drive.
1st and 20 at the 43-yard line. Miguel Tarango is back in the backfield. Receiver to the near side, Justice Hooten. Also Gavin Hooten is this way. Justice now motions from right to left. They throw it out that way. Hooten makes the catch at the 40 and a good tackle. Boy, he just grabbed him up high to Domingo Ramirez and sling him out of bounds at the 38-yard line. So they only pick up 5, and the clock stops with 2:14 to go here in the first quarter. It'll actually stay rolling as the ball carrier was hit in bounds.
Great pursuit there by Garber to keep that pass from just a minimal gain.
2nd down and 15 at the 39-yard line in Garber territory. Under 2 minutes to go first quarter. Ford Smith claps his hands, floats it out left. Miguel Tarango wide open, breaks a tackle, cuts right. 30, flag is down. Tarango to the 20, to the 10, to the 5, trying to be pushed into the end zone. And he is tackled just outside the goal line. But that is coming back. You can see on the screen perhaps Cade Griffin, who's back behind the original line of scrimmage with his hands on his hips, staring first at Whitmire, the Whitecap, but over into the Covington Douglas bench.
I don't know if that's going to be an illegal man downfield or I can't tell. So
yep, that's exactly what it was. Somebody left early on that screen. And this has become a disastrous drive for the Wildcats with 1:44 to go here in the first period. They have been able to move the football, but now they're going to be back to 2nd down and 21 back at the 44-yard line. Camden Thayer, who has the touchdown reception for the Wildcats on the board, is split to the near side. Camden is a junior. Tarango with the backfield. Wide receiver left. Miguel motions to the near side. Direct snap back. Ford Smith feels the pressure. Now gets a roll. Rolling left. Dubs it, and the ball is up and caught by Thayer. And he breaks tackles, and he's still struggling to get to the 25-yard line. And that will be a terrific gain on 2nd down and 21 and set up 3rd down and manageable.
Boy, and that ball was left up there in the air for somebody to come and pick off. And Bishop had a chance to really get a big hit there, but didn't wrap up.
3rd down and 3 for Covington Douglas. They got 18 of the 21 on 2nd and 21. They're now just outside the Garber red zone of the 25-yard line. 4-down territory for sure for Covington. 45 seconds in counting to go in the first quarter. 12-6 our score. 2 receivers to the far side. 1 to the near side is Gavin Hooten. Ford Smith looking over to his dad, Brian, who is a step out of the field, and he's calling the play. Ford gets the snap. Now he's going to keep it and run right himself. Ooh. And he has the first down. Boy, Garber's tackling tonight has left a little bit to be desired. They had him stopped a little short again of the yardage to gain, and he still was able to keep those legs moving and pick up almost 5, just shy of the 20.
Yeah, you're right. Every time that they come in pursuit to make the tackle, seems as if they're leaning forward for 2 or 3 extra yards.
He picks up 4 to the 21, so it's 1st and 10 from there. Final play of the first quarter. Hand off to Hooten. That's Gavin running left. Gets outside the numbers and is close to another first down. Hooten's going to be tackled to the 12-yard line, so he picks up 9 to the final play of the first quarter. 12 minutes are in the books, and it has been entertaining in the war on 74, to say the least. Covington Douglas 12, Garber 6. Into first here on the High Plains Insurance Squirtle Game of the Week.
How's is snoring becoming an issue? Have you been told that you need a sleep study but refuse to go into a sleep lab? Then Next Gen Sleep is here to help with our innovative solution for the evaluation, testing, and treatment of sleep apnea. Next Gen is proud to offer this FDA-approved, convenient, and affordable solution that can be done all from the comfort of your own home. Call today to get started. 405-308-3324 or email us at information@nextgensleep.com.
For more than 100 years, Oklahoma Career Tech has been training skilled and dedicated individuals, giving clear career paths to over 90,000 graduates a year. These individuals are the heartbeat of the Oklahoma workforce. serving thousands of companies, fueling this state's economy. Oklahoma is powered by Career Tech.
The high.
Todd Miller, Adam Dieselhorst, the Squirtle Game of the Week crew with you here on hand at Warrendale Stadium in Garber. A warm and breezy evening. It's been all Covington Douglas. They have yet to be stopped on offense despite 5 penalties all coming to that side of the football. Garber did manage a touchdown on their second drive, a 49-yard drive in 3 plays. One of those a 46-yard run by Carson Bishop. So now Covington Douglas will have the wind of their back as they will move from south to north here in the second quarter. Line of scrimmage will be at the 14-yard line when we resume play here in the second. It'll be 2nd down and 3. Covington Douglas going with an empty backfield to start the second, and 4 receivers stacked to the right side of the line of scrimmage. Here we go. Snap coming back from Trevor Frank, the 246-pound senior. Ford will keep it. Smith dancing behind the line, picking his way for a first down inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. And he made something out of very little. That was all patience and reading what he could get by Ford Smith.
Yeah, started to the left side of the line of scrimmage and made just a sweet little sidestep cut. Fell forward for about 4 yards.
So go with the same formation. 4 receivers stacked to the wide side of the field. It's 1st and goal to go. Covington Douglas at the 9-yard line. 11:25 to play here in the first half. And on the jet sweep, they're going to hand it off to Hooten. He gets to the 5 and then is hog-tied and rolled down at the 4 by Domingo Ramirez. So that's going to bring up 2nd down and goal to go. Give Hooten 5 on that carry. Coming in, he'd rushed 36 times for 218 yards. 2nd and goal to go. This will be play number 9 of the drive, upcoming for the Wildcats. We have played 13 minutes exactly of this ball game. It's 12-6 Covington, but they're threatening. Same formation. 4 receivers stacked wide right. Ford Smith looking over to the far sideline. Play clock is down to 6. They motion Tarango. He'll line up in the backfield. Ford Smith options left to Miguel Tarango. Hit, and he did not get in. What a good tackle that time. Denied him at the 1-yard line. 3rd and goal to go.
Big hit on the edge there by Ramirez.
That kid will come up and stick you. He's made 2 really good tackles, hard physical tackles on the last 2 Covington Douglas plays. 3rd down and goal to go. The ball is between the 1 and 2 yard line, so we'll officially call it the 2-yard line. 10-10 to go here in the first half. 12-6 Wildcats over the Wolverines.
That is not an earthquake. That is the subwoofer that is playing music, so just to let the fans know.
It works. Trying it out for the first time. Tarango motions, Hooten to the backfield. They give it to Gavin behind right guard, bangs his way in for a touchdown. So 3 different Wildcats have scored their touchdowns. And with 9:58 to play in the first half, the lead extends to 18-6. Rushing touchdown number 3 for Gavin Hooten. Make that number 4. That's his 10th all-purpose touchdown of the year. He has 6 receiving. Tarango in the backfield. Here's the try for 2. Ford Smith gets the exchange, rolls right. He's in trouble. Now he spins away all the way back to the 22. He's going to throw off his back foot into the end zone, and the ball is incomplete. And Ford Smith went to the ground hard at the end of that throw. So Covington Douglas, who came in 56% of the year in tries for 2, 0 for 3 tonight, will step aside for these messages. Timeout, 9:58 to go, first half, 18-6. Covington Douglas here with the High Plains Squirtle Insurance Game of the Week.
Plains Insurance Agency takes pride in keeping up with many changes in the crop insurance industry and keeping their insurers informed of these changes. The goal is to help each farmer customize their crop insurance to meet their needs. Thanks for your continued business. And remember, call Amy, Carissa, or Danny at High Plains Insurance in Medford and Loyal at 580-395-2447 or toll free at 1-800-346-4056 for a quote today.
Imagine a school with more than 26,000 enrollments per year. cultivating opportunities for students to develop new skills and gain industry-recognized certification. Now imagine a corporate training center that partners with more than 500 local businesses each year, providing a productive and prepared workforce for employers in Oklahoma through customized training. Now, imagine a community resource who believes our business thrives when our community thrives. We aren't just the local Votech, we are Autry Technology Center.
Back in Garber, 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns for Covington Douglas. All told, 5 offensive drives between the 2 rivals and 4 touchdowns. It's 18-6. 9:58 to play here in the first half. Here is Justice Hooten to kick it away, and this time he sends it deep. It'll hit at the 30, rolls right. It's going to be picked up at the 25. Covington Douglas nearly was able to snatch the ball away as Camden Thayer raced down there. The ball briefly was free on the turf, and Garber covers it up at the 25-yard line.
Well, they avoided disaster there. That could have been a major mistake.
9:57 to play here in the first half. 1st and 10 of the 25-yard line. Garber with their worst starting field position in 3 drives tonight. 18-6 Covington Douglas. 9:57 to play first half. Out of the gun is Carson Bishop. 3 receivers, all to the near side. Carson Bishop throws a little screen pass for Mark Bishop at the 25 to the 30. Breaking tackles as a first down out across the 35 to the 36-yard line. Mark Bishop is so dangerous when he's able to get those shoulders square and run north-south.
Very dynamic athlete, as you see there. Makes one cut, gets plus 10 very quick. They got to find ways to get the ball in his hands.
Needed 10, got 10. Clock continues to wind. 9:19 to play here in the first half from Garber. 18-6, our score here in the High Plains Insurance Squirtle game of the week. Carson Bishop will stay with that same formation. This time the receivers split to the right. That's the short side. Carson will keep it. 35, Carson Bishop still going to the 40. Now to the 45-yard line. That's enough to the 46 for a first down.
I like that power run game. He gets down. Bishop gets down below his pads, has a good low pad level, and a lot of plus yardage when he's carrying it.
Seth Smith, the junior fullback, is back out there. He is yet to carry this year. He does have 9 receptions for 143 yards. So 21 yards upfield by the Bishop cousins. First mark on a screen pass, and then Carson on a design quarterback keeper. Line of scrimmage at the 46. Garber moving into that wind, north to south, left to right here in the second quarter. Seth Smith is offset to the right of Carson Bishop. 3-man defensive front. And now they're going to hand it off to Mark Bishop. He's in trouble, dodges 2 defenders, spins back and manages to get 2 somehow to the 48-yard line. And that was all Mark Bishop because there were 2 defenders, both the linebackers, Doherty and Pearson, back there behind the line of scrimmage about 4 yards deep.
Yeah, they had him at about a -5 and a great cut and to get some positive yardage.
8-10 at Canada play here in the first half, 18-6. Covington has led all the way. They led 12-6 before Garber scored on their last drive. They seem to be getting a little bit more in sync offensively.
It's an interesting score, an 8-man. Drumright leads Keota 20-12 early in the first quarter, actually towards the end of the first quarter.
Ramirez and Seth Smith are split to the near side. Carson Bishop with some confusion is going to have to burn a timeout. So a timeout of the field, 7:46 to play, first half, 18-6. Covington Douglas over Garber.
We'll check some scores instead of going to pay some bills. Balco leads Kremlin Hillsdale 22-0 in the second quarter, just up the road. Early in the second quarter, Palm Creek Hunter leads Wacomas 14-6. Waurika is all over Schneider 22-6. O'Keene 28, Beaver 6. This is a good game. Wetumpka and Regent Prep is 21-20 at the end of the first quarter. Laverne leads Ellick 28-0 at the end of the first quarter, and just down the road, actually a little ways down the road because they're playing this one at Canton. Ringwood leads Canton 36-6.
Canton has lost to Garber 52-6. Garber playing that game in week 1. They did not play a week 0 game. Covington Douglas played a week 0. This is their 5th game of the year, so they'll have a bye week coming up. Garber preseason picked third in Class B District 2, OBA Ringwood, then Garber, then Cherokee, Pond Creek, Hunter, and Kremlin Hillsdale. Covington Douglas, it appears to be a battle of the Wildcats for supremacy in Class B District 3. Sealing and Covington Douglas, then Wacomas, O'Keene, Canton, Southwest Covenant. One back set, Carson Bishop out of the gun. Two receivers to the far side. Carson will keep it. He's to the 50, bounces outside, spins, and is tackled to the Wildcat 46-yard line. A couple of yards short of the first down yardage, but still a manageable third and short upcoming. Gavin Hooten was the first to tackle him.
Well, and a great job by the O-line that time for Garber. Man, they got a great push.
7:15 to play here in the first half. 18-6 our score. Covington Douglas looking for a 5-0 start, and they'd have two really good wins. In fact, really three. Ringwood, Garber if they win tonight, and, of course, the Week 0 victory over Timberlake. Third down and 2 at the 46 of Covington Douglas. Bishop, Carson moves Mark behind him in a pistol formation. They hand it off to Mark left side, and he did not get there. Cash Pearson grabbed him by the hips and threw him down shy of the 45, so it's going to be fourth and about 1.5 yards upcoming for Garber.
Well,
front for Covington, they'll snap it with 8.
Stream with Oklahoma's #1 high school streaming service, Squirtle.tv. Find out more at Squirtle.com/stream.
Is your school or booster club looking for ways to fundraise? Let Downtown Threads create a custom website to showcase all your school apparel. You pick the design and the garment, we do the rest. We will handle all the payments and cut you one check when the website is closed. Call today, 580-237-7060. Downtown Threads, proudly supporting all local high school athletes.
Seventh play of the Wolverine drive upcoming. It started back at their 25. They converted on 4th and 2 with a Carson Bishop run. They have it 1st and 10 at the Covington Douglas 44-yard line. 2-by-2 set, empty backfield. Carson Bishop looks over now, a two-man front. He gets the snap, now hands it to Mark Bishop, makes a cut, and boy, a good tackle. Cash Pearson hit him and dropped him at the 43-yard line. He'll pick up 1 yard. And, man, when he made that quick right-to-left cut, it looked like he was going to bounce outside for a whole lot more.
Covington's doing a great job of tackling him in space because he's one slip tackle away from taking it to the house every time.
5 minutes and counting to play here in the first half. 18-6, Wolverines trying to score on back-to-back possessions. One back set, Mark Bishop offset to his cousin Carson's right. Carson drops, now he's going to run. 40, 35, first down to the 30, lowers his helmet, and his dump truck down there. A run of 12 for Carson Bishop. They just spread the field that time and let Carson Bishop work. He has carried 29 times for over 250 yards coming in, and you can see why he is such a weapon, having the ball in his hands on every snap.
Yeah, what an impressive run. Like you said, he just sat back there very patiently, waited till they find a spot and gain positive yardage.
4:38 and counting to play, first half. 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. Carson Bishop hands it to Mark. Mark out of an ankle tackle. Down the field, 25, cuts left to the 20. Has a first down, and he is tackled near the 18-yard line. So another double-digit run, either by Mark or Carson Bishop. That's been their offense on this drive, and why stop if it ain't broke?
Yeah, it looks like we may have a player down too, but I like it. I like the play calling by Garber, the physical running game, the big line, lean on them, and lean on your athletes.
11 yards on the run, and I'm telling you, if Mark Bishop gets full steam ahead and he hits you, that's trouble. The injured Wildcat, we can't see his number, is laying down in his stomach at the 17-yard line. 4:29 to play here in the first half. What an impressive drive orchestrated by the Bishop cousins, Carson and Mark. They have gone to 3rd and 4th down once on this drive. Tonight, Garber is 1 of 2 on 4th down tries, and they are 1 of 2 on 3rd down conversions. So the place is silent. Both teams on the respective sidelines on a knee, and we're going to take a quick break. Back after these messages on the High Plains Insurance Squirtle Game of the Week.
Few things bring communities together like high school sports. The passion, the drama, the atmosphere, the tremendous thrill of victory, and the agonizing pain of defeat. There's nothing like it, and nobody in Oklahoma brings you all of that better than Squirtle. So sit back, hold on, and get ready for another thrilling ride, because it's time once again for the Squirtle Game of the Week.
Some scores.
Good news, the injured Covington Douglas Wildcat is up on his feet. Now, it looks like, though, he's going to have some assistance, and that appears to be Michael Duker, a 5'5", 185-pound senior. And if he can't continue, and again, he is being assisted and not putting a lot of pressure on his leg, that would be a huge loss because he's their starting left guard and also their nose tackle.
Yeah, he was very impactful in that first game we watched against Timberlake. He was all over the place, and be interesting to see who they bring in for him, and wish him well, wish him good health. Looks like it may be a knee injury. Todd, you want to check some scores on the Squirtle scoreboard? We have Edmond Santa Fe leading Memorial 16-0. Bixby is all over Norman North, 25-0. Union leads Owasso 14-8. That was a game that was an interesting one. Just down the road at Enid, Jinx leads 35-0 in the second quarter over Enid.
Jinx had a big win last week over Union.
That is correct. Moore and Westmore all knotted up at 10-10. We're going to go check our other game of the week real quick at Marlow. How about this? Pauls Valley leads Marlow 8-0. The minute to go in the first half. That would be a huge win for Pauls Valley. Metro Christian leads Mount St. Mary's 21-6. We will see them next week at Perkins. And Perkins leads Kingfisher 21-0.
All right, here we go. First down and 10 inside the red zone for Garber at the 19 of Covington Douglas. Ramirez and Bishop. Mark Bishop split to the near side. Seth Smith is in the backfield. They fake the handoff. Carson Bishop will keep it. He is in trouble and drugged down behind the line for a loss of 1. And it looked like Cash Pearson was in there along with Blake Hamlet. We've seen both of those young men play well here early. Loss of 1 brings up second down and 11.
Oh, look at this score. Some wondered if Fairview was going to make it back because they struggled early in some of these games. They lead Hooker 35-6 early in the second quarter.
When you have the best player on the field at quarterback in Class A, you have a chance every night, not to mention they're well coached. Low snap, here comes the pressure. Carson Bishop rolls right, throws, and dumps it incomplete as he was shoved out of bounds. It's going to bring up third down and 11 at the 20-yard line. Earlier, Trenton Hoops was actually in the backfield, number 10. And we missed that. I think I said it was Seth Smith, but it was actually Hoops that was back there.
He had a man downfield that time. He just couldn't get a handle on the ball when he was trying to throw it.
Third down and 11. We told you a moment ago the Wolverines tonight 1 for 2 on third down conversions. They need to get to the 9-yard line to keep this drive alive. Clock has stopped at 3:38 to play in the first half.
And if you're play calling here, Todd, you know you've got 2 plays to get about 11 yards. You got to be kind of thinking in your head.
Hoops is in the backfield in a pistol formation behind Carson Bishop, and it looks like Garber's going to have to spend a timeout. They are, and that will be their final timeout here in the first half. 3:38 to play before intermission. 18-6 Wildcats here on the High Plains Insurance Squirtle Game of the Week.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news. The movement experts at Physical Therapy Central can help you find relief and results and keep you off the sidelines. With over 30 convenient locations across Oklahoma City and beyond, contact PT Central today at ptcentral.org to see a physical therapist.
At Maples Nixon Diesel Horse, we've helped a lot of people, and our goal was to treat each and every person like a friend. And as a friend, we've got your back always. We understand what you're going through. Being lawyers is what we do, but it's not all that we are. We care. We'll stand beside you throughout the entire legal process, not just as lawyers, but as your friends. We are Maples Nixon Diesel Horse, and we are here to help.
3rd and 11 Garber. They go with an extra a blocker in the backfield. It is Mark Bishop who dances, and he is not going to get there. He'll be stopped at the 16-yard line. That will be a gain of 4. It's going to bring up 4th down and 7. And the clock winding towards 3:20 to play here in the first half.
Like the play call, though. Makes it much more manageable, a 4th down and 7. You have a lot more in your playbook to gain 7 yards than you do, 11 or a possible negative gain.
Glad to have our viewers and listeners on the Sports Animal app and Facebook page tonight. Glad to be partnering with them here for high school football in 2023. 4th down and 7 at the 16-yard line. Low snap, Bishop hands it. Carson throwing towards the end zone, and the ball is batted away incomplete. That's a good decision by Ford Smith. He just stepped in front of the intended receiver and batted it down. You catch that, you're starting inside the 5. As it is, you're going to have very good starting field position to take over.
Well, and that's a big stop for Covington. Obviously, if Garber can get some points put on the board, gives them a little momentum coming out of the second half. And obviously, Garber really needs to focus on keeping Covington out of the end zone here, as they've scored on every one of their drives, I believe.
You're correct. Garber will have the football to start the second half. Tarango in the backfield with Ford Smith. Quarterback fakes the handoff.
Ooh, he got him.
Smith has a receiver open, and he makes the catch at the 36-yard line. Cade Griffin, he was open, and Ford Smith did not miss with the wind to his back. A huge gain to the 39-yard line. That is 23 at a first down.
Just a really good play call and a great completion there by Smith, hanging in there and lobbing it right over the top.
2.5 minutes to play in the first half. Low snap again. Ford Smith rolls right. He'll dump it off on the far side. A first down. That's Griffin. Let's see who that is that made the catch. I think it was Camden Thayer. It was. And he picks up 11 to midfield. Carson Bishop hit him hard on the boundary. Clock continuing to wind. 2:17, 2:16 to play here in the second quarter. Garber again does not have a timeout. Covington Douglas has all 3 of theirs if they need it. 1st and 10 for the 50 in 2 plays. They've moved upfield 34 yards. Slip screen this time to Cade Griffin. Bounces outside 40. Down the numbers 30, 20. A flag is down. Griffin cuts right to the 10 to the 5, and he's in for the touchdown. But it's coming back. There was a hold when he initially got free on the little slip screen at the 45-yard line.
It was right out here in the open, and honestly, it was completely unnecessary because, ultimately it wasn't probably going to affect what happened out here on the edge, but that's what happens a lot of times.
Boy, Covington Douglas just continues to shoot themselves in the foot. To this point, it hasn't cost them. That's the second scoring play of over 20 yards tonight that will be erased because of a holding penalty. Well, we have a moment. Happy birthday this weekend to the legend himself, Randy Turney, a guy I really like, a guy that Adam likes, but the difference is I don't have to and he does.
Yeah,
seriously, Coach, have the best birthday weekend.
Yeah, he's a
good one.
He's a special person for sure. And he normally is calling a lot of these games, so we gave him the weekend off so he could celebrate his birthday, and I think the Lady Rangers celebrated it in style
cool.
with him.
Pretty cool today in the locker room. 1st and 17 back at the 43-yard line. So the touchdown reception of 39 yards comes off the board. Now they're going to throw it out left to Hooten. Gavin hits, spins, and did he stay in bounds? He did, as he is tackled at the 48-yard line.
Yeah, and that's
hit by Cooper Hughes.
That's a situation where Hooten's got to know he's got to get out of bounds. Major props to Hooten. He's got his Squirtle cleats on tonight, wearing his bright green Squirtle cleats.
2nd down and 12 at the 48-yard line. Covington Douglas attacking through the air of this drive. Here comes the pressure. Ford Smith is wrapped up, and they're going to get him down this time at the 45-yard line. Well, it was a jailhouse break for the 8 Wolverines were surrounding, and Trenton Hoops was the first one to get him to the ground.
Well, and I tell you what, big props to Hoops because you let go of Smith there, and Smith had a lot of green in front of him, so that was a big play there for Garber.
3rd down and 16, back at the 44-yard line after the sack. 42 seconds to play here in the first half. They are going to motion Miguel Taranco. They're looking for a screen again. This time it's Tarango on the far side. Down the boundary. He's at the 45. Bounces off a tackler. Then finally is rolled down to the 43, and a late flag comes in. And I think Garber has just committed a penalty that's going to give Covington Douglas a first down with 30.7 seconds to play in the second quarter.
Yeah, Domingo Ramirez made a great play, a great hit on Tarango, but unfortunately he continued hitting him after the player was out of bounds, and so obvious flag. And so now we see a flag affect Garber.
They have not been penalized much tonight. More than likely, it's going to be a personal foul, late hit called against the Wolverines.
We're gonna have a special guest on at halftime.
We are.
Superintendent Dusty Torrey.
It's as big as it gets.
I think he's going to talk about some of the things that Garber has going on with their new bond issue they recently passed.
After the 15-yard penalty is marked off, line of scrimmage will be at the 28-yard line. And again, with 3 timeouts and 30.7 seconds to play, Covington Douglas is poised to build on a 2-touchdown lead. A costly 15-yard penalty tacked on to the end of a big play by Tarango. Now they'll start the clock. Empty backfield for Ford Smith. Smith rolls left, throws left, ball underthrown, but Tarango is able to make the catch, but a good play by Domingo Ramirez at the 22-yard line. And Covington Douglas will call their first of 3 timeouts with 18.5 seconds to play.
I could have sworn that ball hit the turf. It looked like it hit the ground, but I guess it didn't.
What he did, he had his hands underneath it, and he kind of flipped it up in the air. And then that play enabled Ramirez to come in and gain ground to make a good open field tackle. I really liked what I've seen from Domingo Ramirez tonight out there at corner.
This is a huge, huge possession in this game. Garber really needs to keep this thing down to 2 scores and keep Covington out of the end zone. 2 scores and 8-man, even 3 scores and 8-man. Not too hard to come back from.
Especially when you get the first possession of the second half.
Exactly, but, man, you definitely want to keep it around 2 scores.
18.5 seconds to play in the second quarter. 18-6 our score. Mark and Meek taking the show down south tonight to Marlow for the first time ever for Squirtle. I guess next week we're going to make a trip to a new place.
Yep, we'll be going 2 new places. We'll be going to Perkins Tryon for Metro Christian and Perkins, and we'll be going to Dewar for Velma, Alma, and Dewar as
That'll
our other
be a heck of a game.
You bet it will be.
Velma, Alma took it to Pioneer Pleasantville last night. Second down and 4 at the 22-yard line. 18.5 seconds to play in the first half. 2 timeouts, so they can throw over the middle of the field. Ford Smith gets a low snap again. He stands tall, throws left, and off target, looking for Cade Griffin on the near side. 3rd down and 4, and now 14.7 seconds remain. So it's 3rd and 4 at the 22-yard line. Garber trying to avoid back-to-back losses. They lost to Drumright 80-46 last week. They are playing without Trevin Blazer, their outstanding 2-way player, as well as their starting quarterback, Brett Howry. He is out 8 weeks with a broken collarbone. Blazer was listed as doubtful, then moved to questionable. It was a game-time decision. They worked him out of the field, but he was unable to go. Low snap, Ford Smith rolls right. He'll throw it in the back of the end zone, and it is caught. Was he in bounds? And he was out of bounds. That was Gavin Hooten. And now 8.4 seconds remain. It's 4th and 4 for the Wildcats.
Good job up front by Garber, bringing some pressure and getting Smith to have to move and throw off his back foot.
And they are getting pressure, especially in the back half of this first half against Ford Smith. 4th and 4 at the 22-yard line. Time for one final crack. Or do you just worry about getting the first down here and then burn a timeout and have one final crack at it? Tarango now is going to be in the backfield. 2 receivers wide right. It's Cade Griffin and Camden Thayer. Play clock is down to 5. Ford Smith looking over to the far side. They snap it with 2. Ford Smith on fourth down, rolling right. Now he's going to run for the first down. He angles right and has it as he's out of bounds with 2.7 seconds to play here in the first half. So now you have an opportunity to take one final throw into the end zone. As that run ends at the 16, it's a gain of 6, and it's first down and first and 10.
I like that. Give yourself a much more manageable situation. Obviously, you got one play left, so run, your best one play you've got in the playbook here.
See Mark Bishop, the safety. He is playing about at the 3 or 2 yard line. He's looking like a center fielder. Now he steps up a few steps. Final play, barring a defensive penalty in the first half. Ford Smith will roll left, throws right. Wide open is Cade Griffin, and he will not get into the end zone. What a terrific defensive play by Garber. And they slung Griffin to the ground, and he is on his back injured as the first half comes to an end. If Garber comes back, Adam Dieselhorst, and wins that football game, remember that defensive play on the final snap of the first half.
Well, we talked about how important it was going to be for either Covington to try to get in the end zone and extend this thing to 3 scores, or obviously Garber to get a stop. But, man, this is a much more manageable game for the Wolverines. And that's the first time Covington had been stopped on an offensive possession, so tip of cap to them. They've been a little sloppy with penalties so far in this first half, but, man, what a great game we've had so far.
We are at halftime, and the war on 74, it has not disappointed one bit. 4-0 Covington Douglas, 18, 2-1 Garber, 6. Our halftime report coming up next. This is the Squirtle Game of the Week.
Dr. Matt Dieselhorst at Dieselhorst Sports and Orthopedics can help you get game day ready. Dr. Dieselhorst works with athletes of all ages, taking a coordinated approach to accelerate return to play and maximize athletic performance. His work with pros in sports training, injury prevention, bracing, functional rehabilitation, and imaging works seamlessly with his medical and surgical expertise. Get started by going to Dieselhorst Sports and Orthopedics. Let Dr. Matt Dieselhorst get you back on the field, backing all Oklahoma athletes on the field and off.
Born and raised in Edmond, Oklahoma, Trevor Randall is very familiar with the area and the Oklahoma economy. Trevor enjoys helping customers just like you identify the insurance coverage that best fits their needs, with over 19 years of experience to help you better understand the options, whether that's auto, home, renters, business insurance, and more. So give Randall Insurance Agency a call at 405-341-7878 and let us help you get the protection you need with the service you deserve.
So, not real big on paying bank fees? Well, that's okay. It means you're smart with your money and you know how to get a good deal. You're a credit union kind of person, and Communication Federal is your kind of credit union. In fact, Pay Me Checking puts real money right into your account every time you use your Visa debit card, online or in stores. Pay Me Checking, the free account that pays you, only from Communication Federal Credit Union.
Back here at Garber, we are at halftime of this 8-man football showdown between 4-0 Covington Douglas, 2-1 Garber. I'm Todd Miller, along with executive producer Adam Dieselhorst. 18-6 is our score. Covington has led the entire way. They led 12-0. It was 12-6 before the Wildcats scored their final points of the first half on an 8-play, 50-yard drive that ended the first quarter and took almost the first 2 minutes of the second. It was capped by Gavin Hooten, 2-yard run. And again, it is 18-6. They were threatening again, had 3 timeouts after taking over late in the first half with 2:53 to play at their own 16. They picked up first downs at the 39, at the 43 of the Wolverines, at the Garber 28-16. And then a catch was made by Cade Griffin, and he was drug out of bounds and tackled shy of the goal line of the final play of the first half to preserve just a 2-touchdown advantage for the Wildcats. And again, the Wolverines will have the football to start the second half. Ford Smith has thrown a 27-yard touchdown pass to Camden Thayer. Ford Smith has a 4-yard touchdown run. Mark Bishop has a 3-yard touchdown run for Garber. That was set up on a 46-yard run by Carson Bishop. And again, the teams are combined 0 for 3 on point after tries here in the first half. Covington won. They got the football first. They went on a 5-play, 42-yard drive. So let's see what Garber can do when we get underway in the second half in about 15 minutes. We are at halftime from Warrendale Stadium in Week 5 of the high school football season. At the break, Covington Douglas 18, Garber 6. This is the High Plains Insurance Squirtle Game of the Week.
Day in and day out, you're committed. Every practice, every training, every game, every meet, you put in the work. Your fans may not see it, but you do. You have a story to tell, a personal brand, a career to launch, and an audience to connect with. Take control of your story with Athleon.co. You're doing the work. You deserve to benefit from it.
Alva State Bank and Trust Company. Older than Oklahoma, big enough to serve you, and small enough to know you. We've been around since 1901, proudly serving the communities of Northwest Oklahoma and Southern Kansas. We're making banking easy. Whether you're at home, in the office, or waiting for the next quarter to start, our online or mobile banking options help you to juggle busy schedules and financial needs. So stop by and see us at any of our locations in Alva, Burlington, Freedom, Enid, and Kiowa, Kansas. We plant roots where others have branches. Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Anger, anxiety, worry, and disbelief, these are normal emotions to feel with an unplanned pregnancy. You have options, and you are not alone. Hope Pregnancy Center in Alva is a safe, confidential, and compassionate place to land. Hope offers free pregnancy testing and ultrasound, and you will be provided education for all your options. Remember, you aren't alone. We can help with hope. Visit thinkimpregnant.org. That's thinkimpregnant.org.
Are you looking for a local, reliable propane provider? Earnhardt Oil and Propane has been serving customers throughout Oklahoma since 1971. Let them tailor a pricing option to fit your budget. Avoid winter price spikes with easy pay, steady, predictable monthly payments you can count on. Need more fuel options? They also offer bulk fuel delivery, DEF, lubricants, and supplies for your business, all at competitive prices. For reliability 3 generations strong, call Earnhardt Oil and Propane at 866-270-1279 or visit www.earnhardtpropane.com.
When your business is agriculture.
Welcome back here to Garber on the High Plains Insurance Squirtle Game of the Week. We are at halftime, 18-6. Thought it would be a good one, and it certainly has. Covington Douglas has led all the way. They lead Garber by 2 scores. Todd Miller with the crew here inside the booth, and we're joined by the superintendent of schools from Garber, Dusty Torrey. Coach, I haven't seen you in a long time, but you're a popular man here in Garber, able to win political races, I guess, and get bonds passed. Isn't that right?
Well, we did pass one, and it was a big one. So, community got behind it, and we're excited. A lot of stuff going on right now for sure.
You know, it used to seem back in older days that when a bond went out for vote, that you had a pretty good feeling. Nowadays, that's not always the case. I think it says a lot about your community to continue to invest in your students.
It really does. I mean, I did some research looking at previous bonds, and of course I was here in the 2000s whenever we passed the bond issue for the elementary, and so I went back and looked at just history, and we've actually passed, I was looking, I think it's 5 or 6 here in a row, and not only passed them, but passed them by really large margins. So it does speak really highly of our community. They want the best for our kids. They want to provide great facilities. They want Garber to be a place that, is attractive, to other kiddos and stuff maybe in other areas. And you drive through Garber and you look at the school and you just look at things that the previous superintendents and things have done, and the board and the community, and it's really, really awesome.
Makes your job taking over at the top spot done a little easier when you don't look around and go, okay, there's so many things that need fixed. Where do I start?
Sure, and I coached here back even in the late 90s, and so I can actually speak to we were poor. I mean, we were dirt poor in the late 90s, and we would have no chance to pass a bond back then, but the windmills have really increased our valuation, and that's been the key for our community, and I think people just seen the nice things and they like it, and they've got on board with it, and kids deserve it. And if you don't pass bond issues, you don't get enough money just in your general budget, to do the things you look around here that we've been able to do. So it's really exciting.
Well, and with money, what it is from the state, bond issues become much, much more important these days, don't they?
Sure, exactly. We have some local revenue here, but we also rely on state aid, and you just don't get in our building fund. What we get every year is just not enough. It's barely enough to keep up with HVACs and maybe a new bus, every 5 or 10 years, and so You just hope your community will support it, and ours has been great.
Okay, what's the points of emphasis on this new bond? What can we expect to see take place here in Garber?
Well, the priority and the first thing that got started was the cafeteria remodel. We knocked out the back wall of the cafeteria. We're adding over 1,000 square foot to our cafeteria, which is it is the oldest kind of remaining building that we have, and so we're completely gutting the kitchen. We're spending over $1 million in the cafeteria alone. We were able to completely revamp our playground this summer. We put new roofs on part of our elementary and our old PE gym. We're buying new buses. We're spending $300,000 in technology improvements and curriculum upgrades. And then right over here to the south, you can see they've started you'll see a pad poured out there here next week, and it's a 6,000 square foot field house. So it's going to be extremely feasible for our guys, and a huge upgrade from this gray box that we have over here to the north.
All right, you've gone from being a coach to running school districts. It's been a big change for you in your career, hasn't it?
It has. I mean, a lot of things carry over, though. I think just setting goals and having goals for yourself, and just trying to motivate. Instead of motivating players and athletes, you're motivating your staff and your community and your kiddos in the entire district. But it's been a learning curve, and I spent 8 years at Locust Grove, 4 as assistant superintendent and 4 as superintendent, and then now I'm in my second year back here at Garber. So I've had a few years to kind of get acclimated to this role, and it's rewarding. It pays off, and it's just nice to see good things happening throughout the school district.
Dusty Torrey, Superintendent of Schools at Garber, visiting with us here at halftime of the High Plains Insurance Squirtle Game of the Week. Dusty, it has to be nice to get back here to Northwest Oklahoma, doesn't it? Because, trust me, I know, when you live here and you move away and you have a chance to come back, it's a special place.
It really is, and I think Garber's is more special than any of them in this area. My dad, I kind of kid him because I coached at Garber over the years in the 2000s. I've spent 8 years coaching here, and of course we had a lot of success coaching the boys, but he came to so many Garber games that when I moved and left, he kept coming back. He knows all the fans. He knows all the people. They're just great, salt-of-the-earth type people, and now he just thinks he's from Garber, so he comes to every game. He's in the stands tonight. So
when you make that transition, Dusty, from being a teacher, a coach, to administration, was this ever a place in the back of your mind you thought, hey, if I have a chance to get back to Northwest Oklahoma and get back to Garber, that's something I want to do?
It was. There's been a couple times over my career that it's been kind of discussed, and opportunity may have arisen, and it just didn't quite work out at the time. But this time, it just seemed like the right time, and so I'm definitely grateful for the board for having me back and trusting me and the responsibilities that I have. So definitely glad I'm back here, and it seems like a good place to finish my career out.
I'm going to give you a little props here. I love to see 8-man football having a high school band. Band is being de-emphasized, it seems like, in communities, especially small communities around the state. This is really cool to see.
We have a great band. Mr. Fisher does a great job. We've had with the new band room and stuff, the facilities increased over there. We've just had a lot of interest over the years. It seems like in the last 20 years, our band really has just continued to grow and get better. And Jackson Anderson was the band director before Fish, and he did a great job with them. Before that, it was Crocker, Keith Crocker. His name kind of slipped me there, but back when I was coaching, Keith Crocker was here, and Keith got things going and did a really good job. So our band is very solid, especially for a small school.
What do you think about the first half? I mean, Garber certainly has room for improvement, but they took a right cross early, and they're still standing, having the first position of the second half.
Well, I'll be 100% honest. I spent most of the first half serving hot dogs and walking tacos, so I didn't get to see much. I heard the crowd get excited a few times, looked up, and I heard Carson Bishop scored, but I got up here the last 3 minutes getting ready for the interview here, and I definitely like to stop right there at the end, and I like the pressure we're putting on Covington, on the Smith kid. We're doing a good job there, and our guys have had to adjust this week. I mean, obviously their offense is completely different with Howery not in, so I was excited and kind of anxious for Coach Hughes to see kind of how he was going to adapt and things, and and he's put 18 on the board, and I'm sure he'd like to put a few more up there. So,
by the way, I know you're familiar with Squirtle and the people behind it. You don't have to be so honest and candid when you're on here. Honesty is not the best policy when you're dealing with Squirtle, but I appreciate it. Good to see you, Coach. I haven't seen you in a long time.
You too, Todd. Thank you.
Congratulations on great work here at Garber, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Dusty Torrey visiting with us here. He is the superintendent of schools for Garber, and the Garber High School Marching Band is performing. Let's look on for just a little bit at what the Wolverine Band has for you at halftime.
You want a bank behind you that doesn't cut and run at the first sign that there will be some tough times ahead. There are good years and there are always bad years. At Farm Credit of Western Oklahoma, we're here for them all. Agriculture, it's the backbone of our local community. We believe in it. We invest in it. We're here for the long haul. If you're in agriculture, it's time to let Farm Credit of Western Oklahoma make your best even better. Contact a loan officer today. Farm Credit of Western Oklahoma, the area's leading lender in agriculture.
Wiggins Auctioneers is a full-service auction company well-versed in selling farm and ranch land, minerals, commercial and residential properties, as well as equipment, estate, and trust liquidations. In order to better serve our clients, Wiggins Realty offers conventional for-sale listings as well as buyer representation. Whether buying or selling, auction or conventional, we want to be your trusted company. Wiggins Auctioneers, 3 generations strong and setting the standard since 1963.
This is Game Time. Neptune Game Time creates a high-energy game day atmosphere that your players and fans will love. Every song in our database is 100% lyric safe, which means you can stop screening music for good. Game Time also provides custom messaging to help you promote your upcoming events, concessions, and event-specific announcements. And it gives you the opportunity to sell sponsorships on your station that will generate revenue for your athletic department. Amp up your game day with Game Time.
Why be a ranger? At Northwestern, with small classes, you can be seen. With over 40 programs from business to nursing, you can be career-driven. With a campus home away from home, you can be independent. With over half our students graduating without student loans, you can be debt-free. And with a mosaic of cultures, you can be you. Northwestern, success lives here.
Dr. Devin Nightingale is your chiropractic choice in North Edmond with easy access from Cashion, Guthrie, Luther, and all the Oklahoma City surrounding areas. As a former college athlete, Dr. Nightingale understands the importance of a fully functioning body to gain that competitive edge. Also certified in prenatal and pediatric treatments, Dr. Nightingale sees all types of patients, ranging from 2 weeks old to 97 years old. We offer conservative treatments to get you back in the game, whether you're a weekend warrior or a professional athlete. So give us a call at 405-471-5565 for a free consultation today. Is your spouse's snoring becoming an issue? Have you been told that you need a sleep study but refuse to go into a sleep lab? Then Next Gen Sleep is here to help with our innovative solution for the evaluation, testing, and treatment of sleep apnea. Next Gen is proud to offer this FDA-approved, convenient, and affordable solution that can be done all from the comfort of your own home. Call today to get started. 405-308-3324 or email us at information@nextgensleep.com.
For more than 100 years, Oklahoma Career Tech has been training skilled and dedicated individuals, giving clear career paths to over 90,000 graduates a year. These individuals are the heartbeat of the Oklahoma workforce, serving thousands of companies, fueling this state's economy. Oklahoma is powered by Career Tech.
The High Plains Insurance Agency takes pride in keeping up with many changes in the crop insurance industry and keeping their insurers informed of these changes. The goal is to help each farmer customize their crop insurance to meet their needs. Thanks for your continued business, and remember, call Amy, Carissa, or Danny at High Plains Insurance in Medford and Loyal at 580-395-2447 or toll free at 1-800-346-4056 for a quote today.
Imagine a school with more than 26,000 enrollments per year, cultivating opportunities for students to develop new skills and gain industry-recognized certification. Now imagine a corporate training center that partners with more than 500 local businesses each year, providing a productive and prepared workforce for employers in Oklahoma through customized training. Now imagine a community resource who believes our business thrives when our community thrives. We aren't just the local VOTEC, we are Autry Technology Center.
Stream with Oklahoma's #1 high school streaming service, Squirtle.tv. Find out more at Squirtle.com/stream.
Is your school or booster club looking for ways to fundraise? Let Downtown Threads create a custom website to showcase all your school apparel. You pick the design and the garment, we do the rest. We will handle all the payments and cut you one check when the website is closed. Call today, 580-237-7060. Downtown Threads, proudly supporting all local high school athletes.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news. The movement experts at Physical Therapy Central can help you find relief and results and keep you off the sidelines. With over 30 convenient locations across Oklahoma City and beyond, contact PT Central today at ptcentral.org to see a physical therapist.
At Maples Nixon Diesel Horse, we've helped a lot of people, and our goal was to treat each and every person like a friend. And as a friend, we've got your back always. We understand what you're going through. Being lawyers is what we do, but it's not all that we are. We care. We'll stand beside you throughout the entire legal process, not just as lawyers, but as your friends. We are Maples Nixon Diesel Horse, and we are here to help.
Dr. Matt Dieselhorst at Dieselhorst Sports and Orthopedics can help you get game day ready. Dr. Dieselhorst works with athletes of all ages, taking a coordinated approach to accelerate return to play and maximize athletic performance. His work with pros in sports training, injury prevention, bracing, functional rehabilitation, and imaging works seamlessly with his medical and surgical expertise. Get started by going to Dieselhorst Sports and Orthopedics. Let Dr. Matt Dieselhorst get you back on the field, backing all Oklahoma athletes on the field and off.
Born and raised in Edmond, Oklahoma, Trevor Randall is very familiar with the area and the Oklahoma economy. Trevor enjoys helping customers just like you identify the insurance coverage that best fits their needs, with over 19 years of experience to help you better understand the options, whether that's auto, home, renters, business insurance, and more. So give Randall Insurance Agency a call at 405-341-7878 and let us help you get the protection you need with the service you deserve.
So, not real big on paying bank fees? Well, that's okay. It means you're smart with your money and you know how to get a good deal. You're a credit union kind of person, and Communication Federal is your kind of credit union. In fact, Pay Me Checking puts real money right into your account every time you use your Visa debit card, online or in stores. Pay Me Checking, the free account that pays you only from Communication Federal Credit Union.
Day in and day out, you're committed. Every practice, every training, every game, every meet, you put in the work. Your fans may not see it, but you do. You have a story to tell, a personal brand, a career to launch, and an audience to connect with. Take control of your story with Athleon.co. You're doing the work. You deserve to benefit from it.
Alva State Bank and Trust Company. Older than Oklahoma, big enough to serve you, and small enough to know you. We've been around since 1901, proudly serving the communities of Northwest Oklahoma and Southern Kansas. We're making banking easy. Whether you're at home, in the office, or waiting for the next quarter to start, our online or mobile banking options help you to juggle busy schedules and financial needs. So stop by and see us at any of our locations in Alva, Burlington, Freedom, Enid, and Kiowa, Kansas. We plant roots where others have branches. Equal housing lender.
Welcome back here to Warrendale Stadium in Garber. We are in a delay, and the reason is because Cade Griffin, you might remember, the final play of the first half was basically body slammed out of bounds. He was injured. We told you at the time he was laying on his back. Well, the ambulance has taken Cade Griffin to the hospital. We don't know for what reason. But because that ambulance is gone, there is not one currently on site. And the state rule says that there must be an ambulance on site at all times. So that is why we are in a delay. Both teams have been back out of the field for, I'd say, at least 10 minutes out of the halftime locker room, and both are just kind of standing around. The officials actually, Adam, were the ones that were wanting to go ahead and play the game. Well, you can't do that.
Yep.
As everybody was talking here in the booth, that is a state rule, state law, that there must be emergency personnel on hand during a football game.
Well, the other thing also to consider may be that at least if they know that there is a ambulance en route also is the other thing to consider too as well. So
both of these teams are chomping at the bit to get going. You know that Garber is down just 2 scores after making a stand late against Covington Douglas offense. And the Wolverines will get the first possession of the second half. Big thank you, by the way, to Superintendent of Schools Dusty Torrey for stopping by the broadcast booth. Boy, he's got a lot of good things going on here at Garber, and they're lucky to have him, and he is lucky to be associated with a town and a school district like this one.
Yeah, I mean, you just look around when you come here. I mean, just, it's a community and a school system that buys into their kids. And their kids have, not only are they, and you mentioned too, like the extracurriculars, their band. They've got a great band. Their FFA program does a fantastic job too as well. And so, and they invest back in the kids. It makes it easy to be good and successful at things when you have nice stuff, right?
As I said to him, once upon a time it used to be that you could almost rubber stamp bond issues, but the way the economy is and the way people have to live, some people are more hesitant than others to approve such things, but they are very, very important for school districts in their moving forward process. And again, Garber very, very blessed. What did Dusty say? I think 5 bond issues.
In a row.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. So congratulations to everyone associated here with the Garber Public Schools on continuing to put together a first-class education for the students here in Garfield County. 18-6 is our score. Let's recap the first half scoring very, very quickly. Covington Douglas won. They wanted the football. They went into the wind. It took them 5 plays to go 42 yards after the Garber kicker, Nicholas Nahara, miskicked the football. He was trying for an onside kick, and he almost entirely missed the ball. He hit the top of it, and the ball was recovered to the 42-yard line by the Wildcats, and it took them just 5 plays. Now, one of those was a touchdown run of 22 by Fort Smith. It was negated by a holding penalty, and that's been a problem for the Wildcats here in the first half, something I think Brian Smith probably addressed in the halftime locker room, not only for the final 2 periods of this one, but going forward. We can't make those mistakes and have touchdowns taken off the board. Smith with a 27-yard touchdown pass to Camden Thayer. That drive covered 2 minutes and 43 seconds. The conversion failed. It was 6-0. Garber then went 4 and out, and Covington Douglas took over they went 3 and out. Covington Douglas on a touchback punt started at the 20. They went 7 plays to go 80 yards. Fort Smith capping it with a 4-yard run. It was 12-0. Garber really had their backs to the wall at that point. They had not slowed the Wildcat offense down. In fact, of the game's first 15 plays, 12 of those were possessed by Covington Douglas, but a huge drive that took just over a minute and a half got the Wolverines back in business. They started at the Covington Douglas 49-yard line. Carson Bishop a 46-yard run, and then a tripping penalty was called against Gavin Hooten. That was half the distance to the goal line, so it was first and goal to go on to the next play. Mark Bishop capped it with a 3-yard run. Both Mark and his cousin Carson have had big first halves for Garber here in this one. Gavin Hooten then completed the scoring of the first half, capping an 8-play 50-yard Wildcat drive with a 2-yard touchdown run. It took up the funnel 3:39 of the first quarter and extended into the opening couple of minutes of the second. Garber had a very nice drive. They had a drive of 7 minutes and 4 seconds that picked up 5 first downs. They converted on 3rd down once, 4th down once, and then turned it over on downs at the 13-yard line. That occurred with 2:53 to play. And starting at their own 16-yard line, Covington Douglas with 3 timeouts, able to pick up 5 first downs. They were 2 of 2 on 3rd down, 1 of 2 on 3rd down, 1 of 1 on 4th down. And again, the play that injured Cade Griffin and apparently has led to this delay to start the second half occurred when Griffin was basically body thrown to the ground on a tackle on the far side boundary that denied him getting in what would have been the 4th Wildcat touchdown of the night. The ambulance has taken him off, and he has been sent to a hospital, and that's why we are in a delay right now here in Garber, waiting for the emergency personnel to return. So again, both teams doing a lot of stretching, a lot of milling around as we await the official start of the second half. 18-6, Covington Douglas here at halftime. Covington last year ran roughshod over the Wolverines in Covington. This first half has been much different, despite the Wolverines playing up without their starting quarterback, Brett Howry. He is out for 8 games with a broken collarbone. And then, of course, not having Trevin Blazer in the lineup as well, a 2-way star for them. He is a junior. They stretched him out. Early in the week, he was listed as doubtful. I think he moved to questionable right before the game, but they just decided to hold him out. And as we were talking about in the pregame remarks, Adam, that's a smart decision. I know Trevin wanted to play last week at Drumright. I know he wants to play tonight. Here's the thing. There's more important games than this one. This is your biggest rival, but this doesn't have any bearing on how your postseason goes.
Yeah, and obviously he still had to be fairly banged up for them to not play him, like you said. And I think ultimately, you know, when you're battling and positioning for a playoff berth, you got to be smart and know that, you know, getting him back for one game isn't as important as getting him back for the second half of the season.
Garber will get the football. Covington will have the win, which is not quite as breezy as it was when we started at 7 o'clock, so it's a reversal of the way the game started. Covington Douglas went from north to south into the breeze, and Garber was on defense first. Ford Smith will kick it off, and now we're ready for football here in the second half. Mark Bishop awaits. This is a squib kick that's going to go all the way through and picked up at the 27 by Bishop. Swinging left, gets out of an ankle tackle, now stumbles to the 34-yard line, and down he goes. Cash Pearson will get credit for the touchdown, and a nice return by Mark Bishop in good starting field position. Let's see what adjustments the Cats do to try and slow down the Bishop cousins, Carson and Mark.
Yeah, great tackle there, too. Covington's been really good at tackling in space on Bishop, and, he's one tackle away every time from taking it to the house. So credit to Covington there on the kickoff return.
Covington has won the tackling battle tonight. They've tackled much better than the Wolverines. Here we go. First official play of the second half. 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line. Garber in the anthracite uniforms tonight. A new look for them here at home. And now belatedly hustling onto the field is going to be Trenton Hoops, number 10. He'll be in the backfield. So they have a power look. Carson Bishop gets the snap. It's low. He runs right, gets out of a tackle in the backfield, turns upfield and out of bounds. Hit by Cash Pearson, and the gain goes to the 40-yard line. So Carson Bishop gets 6 of the first play from scrimmage here in the third quarter.
Well, and a good positive gain to get this third quarter started for Garber.
Cash Pearson, very active. They run a 3-2 look with Pearson and Doherty as the linebackers, and those two linebackers are 1 and 2 in tackles. Doherty, who had a big first half, has 39 for the season through 3 games, and Cash Pearson, who's been big in the first half, came in with 31. Second down and 4 at the 40-yard line. Power look again. Bishop wants to throw. Throws out left. It's caught. And a first down. And still on his feet across midfield. And down to the 47-yard line. Domingo Ramirez on the catch. And the tackle was made by Justice Hooten.
Good play, pass and catch there. Very impressive.
Gain of 13 on second and short. First down of the third quarter for the Wolverines. Going to the air despite going into the wind here on their second snap from scrimmage. Second and 10 at the Covington Douglas 47-yard line. Now it's the quarterback read. Bishop runs right, runs into Miguel Tarango, and Tarango drops him for a half-yard loss, but a flag was thrown behind the play, and it looks like that will be coming back. And Covington more than likely will give him first down over and take what looks to be a holding penalty. They're talking to Brian Smith across the way right now. The referee again is William Whitmire. The umpire is Daniel Resendez. The back judge is Alan Blaylock. Again, it is a hold, as you see there, against Garber. The linesman is Brian Hall, and the head linesman is Chris Finley. So while the play resulted in no gain, maybe a slight loss, they'll give him the down over, back him up into their own end of the field of the 43, and bring up first down and 20. It is so important at any level of football that you win the battle and stay in front of the chains on first down. For the most part, both of these teams have done that tonight. Cooper Hughes, the tight end. See him standing now. Squats for the right side of the line of scrimmage with a hand on the field. One back set, Carson Bishop, and there's a flag, and I think there was some movement. Yep, that's going to cost the Wolverines 5 more yards, and they have taken a page out of the Wildcats book with self-inflicted mistakes here on their opening drive after they moved for their own 34 down to the 47 of Covington Douglas.
Well, we just talked about a great opening to this drive, and then you back yourself up twice with penalties, and you just can't do that in a game like this.
10:25 in Kenny to play third quarter. Todd Miller along with Adam Dieselhorst, who doubles tonight as the executive producer. Line of scrimmage back at the 38-yard line. So Garber has lost 15 yards after a pass play. It resulted in a first down to the Covington 47. Back to throw Bishop, rolling right. He's going to throw deep near side for Mark Bishop and overthrew him by a good 7 to 10 yards. Gavin Hooten was there in the vicinity, also Justice Hooten. But there's no doubt that Mark Bishop had started to separate, but Carson could not make connections. So it's second down and 25. Wolverines had so much momentum before a holding penalty and a false start. Clock stops with 10:09 to play here in the third quarter. 18-6 our score on the High Plains Insurance Squirtle Game of the Week. The other with Mark and Sean down in Marlow tonight. Bishop to throw. Carson looks left. He has a receiver that is caught at the 45, and he falls forward. That's Domingo Ramirez to the 47-yard line. So a gain of 9. It's going to bring up third down and long with under 10 minutes to play here in the third quarter.
Good pass and catch there. Get a big chunk of that penalty yardage back and make it a little bit more manageable.
3rd and 16. They need to get to the 37-yard line in Covington Douglas into the field. Wide receivers left and right. One back set. Fake the handoff. Back to throw Carson Bishop. Protection breaking down. Now he's going to run. And a good tackle that time by Justice Hooten, the junior safety, out there for Ford Smith as he read it, stayed home, took his legs out on a low tackle. No gain. And it's fourth down and 16.
Well, and another not a good sign for the Wolverines. Domingo Ramirez comes hobbling off the field that time, so that would be a big blow if he can't go.
Certainly from a defensive standpoint tonight, he's been very physical and active out there at corner. So the Wolverines will punt the football away at their own 40-yard line. That's a shame because it was a terrific drive for Garber to start the second half. They'll punt it away into the wind. It's a wobbly kick to the near side, and it's going to hit and roll out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. Let's see where they put the football down. It looks like they're going to spot it at about the 28-yard line. Be first down and 10 for Covington Douglas with 8:47 to play here in the third quarter.
Well, in our other game of the week, Marlow has now taken a 10-7 lead over Pauls Valley in the third quarter. Score that I just saw run across the ticker that surprises me is Watonga is leading Crescent 17-14. That would be a massive upset.
You know, you look at Watonga's scores, and you think back to the 90s with the teams they had. My goodness. 1st and 10 on the 28-yard line. Ford Smith to throw. A little screen across the way, across the 30 and up to the 33-yard line, and then tackled immediately there. So a decent gain on 1st down. He picked up almost half of it. That was Camden Thayer, who's been one of the big targets tonight for Ford Smith. Official stoppage of play. They officially put the ball down at the 31-yard line, so it's only 3. That's going to bring up 2nd down and 7. Miguel Tarango, the 5'7", 143-pound junior, is in the backfield. Ford Smith hands it off on a sweep to the near side. Gavin Hooten, and a good job defensively by the Wolverines. They stayed home, and they were able to knock him out of bounds. One of the guys in the vicinity was Seth Smith, the outside linebacker, and he did a really good job of that play, and that's just 3, and it's going to bring up 3rd down and 4 at the 34.
Well, this is a huge, huge possession for Garber. Garber really needs a stop, and if you're Covington, I really like the quick passing game stuff. That's been very successful to them all night.
Clock stops with 8:05 to play 3rd quarter. 18-6 our score. Ford Smith with 2 receivers to the far side. Starts to motion Tarango. No, he's going to run that way on a quarterback keeper. 1st down at the 40. A flag goes down as he direct defenders with him up to the 44-yard line. That would be a 10-yard run if it stands, but let's see what the flag is about. We've seen a lot of flags here to start the second half, and Covington certainly had their fair share in the first half.
Well, and this may be on Covington. It's just another situation where they've somehow survived these flags on all their drives.
Left, one right. The motion man to the far side is Gavin Hooten. Now they're going to keep it with Ford Smith, and he leaps out of one defender, gets across the 35, and then is thrown down out of bounds on a good tackle by Domingo Ramirez again, and that's going to be close to the yardage gained for a 1st down. It looks like initially it might be just inches short. And now they are saying 1st down. And that was all Ford Smith because they were about to get him about 6 yards at him back downfield, and he leaped over what would have been an ankle tackle.
Well, and he also made an incredible cut, too, early on because there was a defender out there to at least obstruct him. But, man, he's really good in the open.
1st and 10 at the 38-yard line. So a fresh set of downs. They're able to overcome a blocking below the waist penalty. Ford Smith throws it out to the motion man Hooten. It was a little too far and off Gavin's hands. Incomplete. Done some Covington games the last couple of years, and Gavin Hooten has really had good games, but tonight he's been somewhat quiet by his lofty standards. Yet his team, with 7 minutes to play in the 3rd, leads by 2 scores.
He's got some sweet cleats, though. We'll give him that.
Miguel Tarango out of that last play. Now we'll check in. Yeah, you called them the Squirtle cleats. 2 receivers right, motion man to the near side. Ford Smith takes the handoff. Now he's going to come left, and a great job by the Wolverines on defense. It looked like initially he was going to be able to run for days, but staying home and making a really good play was
Jason Borland.
Jason Borland, that's exactly who it was. Man, he did a good job because Ford Smith looked like he was going to have a lot of running room.
That's that edge player's responsibility. Stay at home, outside in, everything outside in. He did a good job there.
6:19 in Canada play 3rd quarter. Todd Miller, Adam Dieselhorst on the High Plains Insurance Squirtle Game of the Week tonight from Garber. 3rd and 7. They've already overcome 3rd and 11. Ford Smith and company at the 41. He drops. He's pressured. Throws out right. Ball caught by Tarango. Down the sideline, 1st down and more. Miguel Tarango bangs into a defender at the 50 and then goes down, and a flag comes down to the end of the play. And the run is going to come to an end at the 47-yard line of the Wolverines. So let's pump the brakes. Covington looks like they're starting to retreat. I'll tell you, if that was a block or a hold, it was really silly because he was well beyond the 1st down marker by the time they threw the flag, and now they're going to pick it up. So the play stands. It's a 12-yard play on 3rd down and 7. Smith to Miguel Tarango. Clock will begin to roll as soon as they set the chains. We're at 6:05 to play here in the 3rd. Haven't had any scoring since early in the second quarter. It's 18-6 Covington Douglas. Motion man from right to left of the formation, Gavin Hooten. Another low snap. Ford Smith handles it, throws it out left. It is Thayer with a catch and a first down inside the 40, angling left. He's out of bounds at the 35-yard line of the Wolverines.
Great play call. Good offense there.
The skill positions, would you agree, for Covington Douglas, about as good as they've been? Up front, maybe a little suspect early in the year, but keep in mind they're playing without Michael Duger, who was injured in the first half. Blake Hamlet now is out there, and he is lined up as the left guard. Two receivers right, one in the backfield. Miguel Tarango gets the handoff straight ahead. Running room, 30, cuts left, 25, and he's gone. 15 to the 10, to the 5, and a touchdown for Miguel Tarango. That is his fourth rushing touchdown. He is now a late flag comes in, thrown well behind the end of the play by Whitmire, the Whitecap. Tarango is the fourth different Covington Douglas Wildcat now to score a touchdown.
Well, that's what happens when they can spread you out like they can and be so multiple. It obviously, opens up a big running game, and they really haven't been running the ball up the middle that much, mostly the edge, and a great play call and great run by Tarango.
That is the season long for a run for Miguel Tarango. 35 yards. His previous long was 21. And what was the call? Did he say tripping? They've called an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Covington Douglas. I think it was another tripping foul, and that would be the second of the ball game. You don't see that called very often. We've seen it twice tonight. Wildcats going for two, leading 24-6, so the touchdown does stand. 5:41 to play here in the third quarter. Camden Thayer will be in a Wildcat formation. Offset to his left is 20, Cash Pearson. Bad snap. It's picked up that time by Thayer. He runs right, now is tripped up as he stumbles. And Covington Douglas has not looked good tonight on two-point conversions. They keep the door open. Time out of the field, 5:41 to play, third quarter. It's the Wildcats 24, the Garber Wolverines 6, so the High Plains Insurance Squirtle Game of the Week.
Member FDIC.
Anger, anxiety, worry, and disbelief, these are normal emotions to feel with an unplanned pregnancy. You have options, and you are not alone. Hope Pregnancy Center in Alva is a safe, confidential, and compassionate place to land. Hope offers free pregnancy testing and ultrasound, and you will be provided education for all your options. Remember, you aren't alone. We can help with hope. Visit thinkimpregnant.org. That's thinkimpregnant.org.
Are you looking for a local, reliable propane provider? Earnhardt Oil and Propane has been serving customers throughout Oklahoma since 1971. Let them tailor a pricing option to fit your budget. Avoid winter price spikes with easy pay, steady, predictable monthly payments you can count on. Need more fuel options? They also offer bulk fuel delivery, DEF, lubricants, and supplies for your business, all at competitive prices. For reliability 3 generations strong, call Earnhardt Oil and Propane at 866-270-1279 or visit www.earnhardtpropane.com.
The penalty that was called for tripping after the touchdown run will be marked off on the ensuing kickoff. So Garber should get very, very good starting field position, something that they desperately need. Scoring drive, 8 plays, 72 yards for the Wildcats and 3:06. Tarango, a season-long 35-yard touchdown run. So the line of scrimmage is at the 25-yard line instead of the 40. Ford Smith has it placed on a tee. He will kick it away with the wind to his back and a pretty good effort. Mark Bishop fumbles it, trying to make a one-handed catch and circles inside the 24. Up to the 30, trying to get to the 35. Look at the kick coverage. Terrific coverage, and it was first by Gavin Hooten down there. And Ford Smith put a charge into that ball with the wind to his back, and best kickoff of the night for either side. It came at the right time for the Wildcats.
Like you said, Todd, fantastic coverage. Bishop is such a dynamic player back there that any minute he can go, and they did a great job of staying in their lanes and being very disciplined.
Both of these two head coaches very well respected. Both do outstanding jobs. Their programs are first class, and both are very well coached, and you can see it right there on the part of Covington Douglas on special teams. Tight end lined up right, one back offset to the right. That's Mark Bishop. Carson Bishop will keep it, and right up the middle he has close to a first down at the 42-yard line. Going to be stopped a yard short. Bishop helped up by Derek Doherty with good sportsmanship. Second at a yard.
You give a shout out to Coach Fletcher Reed and his wife Jaden Reed, who just had their first baby, and I got a picture from Fletcher. Fletcher is normally the voice of the Garber Wolverines, so he's normally in this seat calling the game. So shout out to him and his wife, and congratulations.
Congratulations to Coach Reed and his family. First or second down at a yard of the 42-yard line. Tied in right, Bishop in the backfield. Low snap again. Carson picks it up. He'll have some running room. And then he's tripped up, but not before a first down carry at the 45-yard line. And Justice Hootner was that Tarango. It was Miguel Tarango that came up from corner and made the tackle.
Great job by Tarango. And like I said, we've talked about this, and you've heard us mention this a bunch, but, man, they have been great in open field tackling. That's been a big difference in keeping Garber from making big plays.
4.5 minutes to play in a rapidly played third quarter here on the High Plains Insurance Squirtle Game of the Week. 8-man version from Garber, Oklahoma. First and 10, Bishop and company at the 45. Mark Bishop motions to the near side. Carson Bishop rolls that way. Now he's looking for Mark, dumps it off, and he has a first down as he's out of bounds to the near side boundary at the 43-yard line. Or make that 47-yard line. He's actually going to be a couple of yards short.
Good, simple, easy pass. Good job that time by Bishop to Bishop. Positive yardage.
Carson Bishop throwing his first passes of the year tonight. He had not been, at least on the stat sheet, credited with a pass. He'd carried 29 times. Mark Bishop now in double digits in receptions as a junior. Second and 2. They're back in Covington Douglas territory at the 47. Smith, the extra blocker of the backfield. Carson Bishop throws, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Domingo Ramirez, and he was hit immediately, and the ball dislodged from behind. It's third down and 2 now for the Wolverines.
Well, that ball probably should have been caught. Good contact there, but that ball really needed to be caught at this point in the game. And good throw there by Carson.
Throwing into the wind, which again is close to 20 miles per hour, was up over 20 out of the southeast, which means it's basically blowing in from the far corner of the south end zone. It's not directly into the players' faces, but it is certainly a factor tonight. Third down and 2 at the 47. Seth Smith lined up tight end right. Carson Bishop fakes the handoff. He keeps it and has a first down run. Tripped up at the 44-yard line. Needed 2, managed 3. And first down number 3 of the second half for the Wolverines.
Big first down conversion there for Garber. Garber really needs to put points on the board here.
That'll take us under 4 minutes to play in the third quarter. We are far from over in this one. 24-6. Garber has really, since the start of the second quarter, been in good rhythm offensively, but they've shot themselves in the foot, especially in the opening drive here in the third quarter. First and 10. Carson Bishop options right to Mark Bishop, and he gains some positive yardage to the 39-yard line, a gain of 5. They ran the option to the near side, and pretty good job of picking up 5 because the Wildcats had that diagnosed.
I really like the play calling and the kind of the adjustment that Coy has made here. This possession has been very well called.
3:47 to play here in the third quarter. Clock stops as Mark Bishop was hit out of bounds. And they've gone with Seth Smith, either in the backfield or lined up just offset of the line of scrimmage. Carson Bishop gets a one-hop snap. Now he's going to run left. He has some running room out of an ankle tackle, and angles left out of bounds inside the 30. Boy, the timing of plays just really become troublesome when the snap's not back on the mark, and we've seen Carson Bishop handle and make something out of not a lot at times tonight for those snaps.
Well, and that's a scenario, too, where Tarango has had a lot of success going low on Bishop. Bishop this time was smart and kind of slowed down, and Tarango dove and grabbed a bunch of grass.
9 yards on a 2nd and 5 carry. First and 10 at the 30 of Covington Douglas for Garber. 3:15 to go in the third. Carson Bishop options right to Mark Bishop, and he's taken down behind the line of scrimmage. Guess who? Number 4, Gavin Hooten, came in for the quarter and read it perfectly. That's going to be a loss of 6 back to the 36.
Well, and that was just well played. Great job reading the play by the safety there. Actually, the corner. Big-time stop for Covington.
Let me just say something, if I can. The game ops crew here, outstanding. You go to a lot of fields, and they're very slow about getting where the line of scrimmage is or the down correct. Not here. They've been on top of it, so kudos to the press box crew. 2nd and 16 at the 36-yard line of the Wildcats for the Wolverines. Seth Smith is in the backfield, standing to the right of Carson Bishop. Bishop gets the exchange, rolling right. He pump fakes, pulls it down, and he is sacked. Cooper Sherman was there first. He didn't make the tackle. Instead, Blake Hamlet swallowed him under. And all of a sudden, just like the first drive of the third quarter, this one going backwards after Garber had gotten into the opposition's end of the field. 3rd down and 16 at the 39-yard line. 2 minutes exactly to play third quarter. 24-6 our score. Covington Douglas looking for a 5-0 start. This would be their 3rd win of the year on the road. They were picked 2nd in Class B, District 3 behind Sealing. Seth Smith will be deployed as a receiver split short left. 2 receivers that way, an empty backfield. Carson Bishop to throw. Running out of time, down he goes. He just kind of sat down as he had Cash Pearson coming from one end and Blake Hamlet from the other. And that is back-to-back sacks for Hamlet and company as the loss goes back to the 47. That's a loss of 8. It's 4th down and 24.
And once again, Garber can't sustain a drive. They got a good drive going, get a couple negative yardage plays, and they drop back twice and get sacked. And so, Covington kind of starting to creep away from this.
Their first 7 plays of that drive, they moved from the 33 down to the 30-yard line, and they only went to 3rd down once. They'll punt it away. And this is a short punt into the wind. It's going to hit near the 32-yard line and then take a Covington bounce and be covered up past the 35 at about the 37-yard line. So that's a 10-yard punt into the wind. And Covington Douglas already up 3 scores, have it late in the third quarter leading 24-6.
Well, we talked about whether the wind was going to be a factor, and we haven't seen it play in that big of a factor yet, but right there we saw it.
Covington has dominated this game in terms of field position. Started 2 drives in the Wolverines into the field in the first half. So back to work goes Ford Smith and company with Tarango in the backfield. Wide receiver split left and right. No Cade Griffin. He was taken out of the ball game, knocked out of the ball game on the final play of the first half. Another low snap. Ford Smith has it, breaking tackles, and he's off to the races. 40, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Covington Douglas. You talk about the timing offensively of a bad snap. Sometimes it can work defensively. And I think that may have been the case with the Wolverines because at the last instant after Ford picked the ball up off the ground, it was like the Red Sea party. I mean, nobody staying home up the middle.
Well, I think they called him got him caught in a blitz, and like you said, it was a timing thing. And then they missed about 3 or 4 tackles too. And obviously, in 8-man, you miss 1 or 2 tackles, it's a big deal. And I saw 3 guys miss Smith there.
63 yards on the Ford Smith run. Smith has thrown for a score. He has run for 2, and the lead now is 30-6. Smith out of a Wildcat. Throws a lateral across the way. It is caught by Hooten, breaking tackles. And did he get in? It is close. Yes, he did. Try for 2 is successful. So timeout, 47 seconds to play, third quarter. It's Covington Douglas 32, Garber 6 on the High Plains Insurance Squirtle Game of the Week.
When your business is agriculture, you want a bank behind you that doesn't cut and run at the first sign that there will be some tough times ahead. There are good years and there are always bad years. At Farm Credit of Western Oklahoma, we're here for them all. Agriculture, it's the backbone of our local community. We believe in it. We invest in it. We're here for the long haul. If you're in agriculture, it's time to let Farm Credit of Western Oklahoma make your best even better. Contact a loan officer today. Farm Credit of Western Oklahoma, the area's leading lender in agriculture.
Wiggins Auctioneers is a full-service auction company well-versed in selling farm and ranch land, minerals, commercial and residential properties, as well as equipment, estate, and trust liquidations. In order to better serve our clients, Wiggins Realty offers conventional for-sale listings as well as buyer representation. Whether buying or selling, auction or conventional, we want to be your trusted company. Wiggins Auctioneers, 3 generations strong and setting the standard since 1963.
This is...
How long does it take Fort Smith to run 63 yards? Want to take a guess, partner?
12 seconds.
Bingo. 59 seconds. When the drive started, we're at 70 or 47 seconds. Man, you're good.
I'm producing, so I've been noticing this clock. It's something I normally probably wouldn't have caught.
Oh, you cheated, I see. Here's a onside kick, and this will be squibbed to the 49-yard line and covered up by Garber, so the Wolverines will have it with 47 seconds to play in the third period, down 32-6. To me, here's your game. You have to find a way to get it into the end zone.
Yeah, and I think you just stick with what you've been doing. Ultimately, you can't really change the game plan any with being restricted at quarterback just because you've had the big loss there. So I really like what they got in the run game. I think you just have to stick with it and make sure they don't get any negative plays.
It certainly hurts. Hurts bad to lose a guy like Brett Howry. But again, I'll say it, you have the ball in Carson Bishop's hands on every snap. Mark Bishop moves from the left to the right of his cousin Carson in the backfield from the 49. Snap floats back, they'll option right. Bishop trying to get to the corner is hit initially by Blake Hamlet, who tried to grab him by the jersey, and then finally he's knocked out of bounds by Hamlet and company at the 47-yard line of Covington Douglas. That'll be a gain of 4.
Like that play call, too. Good job of getting the ball out to Mark on the edge. But once again, Covington has been so sound on the defensive side of the ball tackling tonight.
32-6 our score. Next week we are at Perkins Tryon for the Demons and Metro Christian, likely a district championship game in week number 6, at least looking to the early season standings. 2 receivers to the near side. Carson Bishop will keep it running right, and he's cut down to the 41-yard line of Covington. That is right at the first down marker, and they haven't signaled first down yet. They're taking a look at it, and it will be a first down, not by much, but enough to refresh the down marker.
And mentioning our games next week, we'll have another great 8-man matchup as Velma Alma travels to Dewar for a great matchup there. Excited to cover that game. Those will be our first 2 times. First time we've ever been in Dewar to cover a game. First time we've ever been in Perkins to cover a game.
This pair of Squirtle schools go into battle here tonight. That'll be the final play of the third quarter. So some work to do for the homestanding Wolverines. They trail Covington Douglas 32-6 with 12 minutes to go here in the High Plains Insurance Squirtle Game of the Week.
Game time. Neptune Game Time creates a high-energy game day atmosphere that your players and fans will love. Every song in our database is 100% lyric safe, which means you can stop screening music for good. Game Time also provides custom messaging to help you promote your upcoming events, concessions, and event-specific announcements. And it gives you the opportunity to sell sponsorships on your station that will generate revenue for your athletic department. Amp up your game day with Game Time.
Garber has it in Wildcat territory to start the fourth quarter. Todd Miller, Adam Dieselhorst to the Squirtle crew with you at Warrendale Stadium. First time I've ever called a football game here. I know it's not the first visit for Squirtle and won't be the last, but a big thank you to everyone here with the Garber school system for their hospitality as always. Nothing like coming home to Northwest Oklahoma. First and 10 of the 41-yard line. One back in the backfield. Now they motion the man. They'll hand it off, and the handoff goes to Trenton Hoops, and he tiptoes his way down to the 37-yard line, a gain of 4.
Boy, that was about avoided disaster. That snap came too quick and bounced off of Carson Bishop's foot and then landed right into Hoops' hand.
Jason Borland is the center. He is a senior. We told you that they started tonight with a junior and 2 seniors among their 3 offensive linemen. Half minute already gone here with the fourth quarter. 2nd and 6 at the 37-yard line. Third time in as many second-half possessions the Wolverines have managed to punch it into Covington Douglas territory, but no points to show. Hoops in the backfield, and there's movement. Looked like they were going to come off the edge with Miguel Taranco on a blitz, and I think somebody on the right side flinched. If so, it's Cooper Hughes, and that's exactly who it is, the tight end. So here we go. You get penalties after you have a successful drive working. Now, instead of having 2nd and 6, it's back to 2nd and 11 on the line of scrimmage at the Covington Douglas 42.
Well, we talked about it, shooting yourselves in the foot. You just mentioned them crossing the 50-yard line. It's been the story all night for Garber.
Hoops in the backfield. Bishop throws to Mark Bishop over the middle. What a tackle that time by Gavin Hooten. Gained for 2 to the 40-yard line. It's 3rd down and 9. Covington Douglas will give him those little 2-yard passes all night long. Just keep them in front of you, and that's what Hooten did.
They have done a fantastic job covering up Mark Bishop tonight, not letting him bust out, get loose.
10.5 minutes to play from Garber in Garfield County. Football Friday night, week 5 of the high school season here on Squirtle. Wide receivers left and right. Ramirez to the near side. Mark Bishop wide right. This time it's a quarterback keeper with Carson Bishop. And a good tackle again. Had his feet taken out by Camden Thayer at corner. Man, this team finishes the job very, very well as that gain goes for 4 to the 36. They tackle as well as anybody I've seen in high school football at any level this season.
Well, and that is just such an important thing at any level, but especially in 8-man, just because there's so much space. And we've been seeing it all night. I mentioned it early on. That was one side of the ball that I thought that Covington had improved a lot in, and they're showing it tonight.
These are 2 veteran clubs, guys that have played together a lot of quarters of football on both sides for Garber and Covington Douglas. 4th down and 5 of the 36. Carson Bishop rolling right. Now he's going to take off and try to run for it. He didn't get there. As he angles out of bounds, Covington Douglas had him dead to right. He's going to be about 2 or 3 yards short, and the Wildcats, leading 32-6, will turn over the Wolverines on downs.
First down and 10 at their own 35-yard line.
So the play only gains 1. And Ford Smith and Company, 9:38 away from a 6-0 start. A 6-0 start will take over at the 35-yard line. They played a bye week, or they played a week 0 game, so they will still have a bye week to come. Miguel Taranco and Gavin Hooten split to both sides of Ford Smith. Hand off to Hooten, sweeping left, 40. First down, 45 midfield. And he's out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Slipping tacklers on the short side of the field was Gavin Hooten, and he turns that in to a 20-yard run.
The run will give Covington Douglas a first down and 10 at the Garber 45-yard line.
9:31 to play. The clock is frozen. Hooten hit out of bounds. Gavin getting more active offensively, and he's had a big game defensively here in the second half. From the Garber 45-yard line, Wildcat 1st and 10. Tarango and Hooten split to each side. Back to throw. Smith had a receiver streaking down the seam, and he was offline with the throw, incomplete. Miguel Tarango was open. Mark Bishop was in the vicinity, though, for the Wolverines.
Yeah, and that was a play they scored on earlier on. Better job covering that in the secondary for Garber.
Wolverines are going to bring into the ball game Cord Southwick. He is a freshman, wearing number 13. And now coming out of the ball game is going to be Colton Dietz, 2nd and 10. Motion man, Hooten to the near side. Throw near side, ball caught, turns inside 45 to the 30, to the 20, to the 15. He's gone. 10, 5, touchdown, Covington Douglas. It's Justice Halcomb on the slip screen. Takes it 45 yards after he slipped an ankle tackle. He went running down the numbers and beat all defenders to the end zone. So a quick 65-yard touchdown strike in 3 plays. Ford Smith with his 2nd touchdown pass of the night. And that is now 5 Covington Douglas Wildcats that have visited the end zone in this one. Grayson Marler is behind Ford Smith, as they're going to go for 2. They've converted just 1 time tonight. Motion man from left to right. They'll hand it off to Marler, and he was hit and got free of a waist tackle, but he is covered up at the 3-yard line, so the try for 2 fails. We'll step aside, 9:02 to play in the ball game. Covington Douglas 38, Garber 6, so the High Plains Insurance Squirtle Game of the Week.
Ranger, at Northwestern with small classes, you can be seen. With over 40 programs from business to nursing, you can be career driven. With a campus home away from home, you can be independent. With over half our students graduating without student loans, you can be debt free. And with a mosaic of cultures, you can be you. Northwestern, success lives here.
Dr. Devin Nightingale is your chiropractic choice in North Edmond with easy access from Cashion, Guthrie, Luther, and all the Oklahoma City surrounding areas. As a former college athlete, Dr. Nightingale understands the importance of a fully functioning body to gain that competitive edge. Also certified in prenatal and pediatric treatments, Dr. Nightingale sees all types of patients, ranging from 2 weeks old to 97 years old. We offer conservative treatments to get you back in the game, whether you're a weekend warrior or a professional athlete. So give us a call at 405-471-5565 for a free consultation today. Is your spouse's snoring becoming an issue? Have you been told that you need a sleep study but refuse to go into a sleep lab? Then Next Gen Sleep is here to help with our innovative solution for the evaluation, testing, and treatment of sleep apnea. Next Gen is proud to offer this FDA-approved, convenient, and affordable solution that can be done all from the comfort of your own home. Call today to get started. 405-308-3324 or email us at information@nextgensleep.com.
Justin Hooton will squib it. It is returned by Mark Bishop to the 30, to the 40, to midfield. He's gone. 40, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Mark Bishop. And the confetti gun goes off. The wind blows it towards the press box windows. And they have something to celebrate here in the second half as for the Garber Wolverines.
Well, and we've been talking about it all night. And if you just give him any kind of space, he is a weapon for sure. Covington has done a great job for a majority of the game, keeping him bundled up, but not that time.
About a 70-yard kickoff return. That's the second for Mark Bishop this season. For a score, he had an 80-yard kickoff return earlier in the season. Wolverines say pump the brakes on win number 6, Covington Douglas, or win number 5. We still have something to do, 38-12. Now you have to come out and get a stop defensively. There was a flag at the end of the touchdown run, unsportsmanlike conduct. So more than likely that will be tacked on to the ensuing kickoff, which means the Wildcats, shocker of shockers, will have good starting field position for their next drive. Seems like a broken record. We've been saying that all night long. So Mark Bishop has both of the touchdowns on the board for the Wolverines tonight. One a 3-yard run, that about a 70-yard kickoff return. Looked like they're going to mark it off on the try for 2. Coy Hughes is out there on the field. He's visiting with one of the officials on the near side. So the ball should be at about the 18-yard line. And now Garber calling the troops over to the sideline. Covington Douglas will stay up there in their defensive alignment. The Wildcats this year have only given up more than 2 scores in one game. That was 2 weeks ago in a victory over Garber's district rival Ringwood, 44-22. They held Timberlake to 6, Bedford to 12. Deer Creek Lamont scored 14 late last week against the Wildcat defense. So they'll spread the field with 3 receivers wide right. Carson Bishop from the 26. He'll heave it towards the goal line, and it's incomplete. Probably should have been picked off. Hit the defender right between the numbers, but the conversion fails, and the score remains 38-12. Back after these messages with 8:50 to go on the High Plains Insurance Squirtle Game of the Week.
For more than 100 years, Oklahoma Career Tech has been training skilled and dedicated individuals, giving clear career paths to over 90,000 graduates a year. These individuals are the heartbeat of the Oklahoma workforce, serving thousands of companies, fueling this state's economy. Oklahoma is powered by Career Tech.
The High Plains Insurance Agency takes pride in keeping up with many changes in the crop insurance industry and keeping their insurers informed of these changes. The goal is to help each farmer customize their crop insurance to meet their needs. Thanks for your continued business, and remember, call Amy, Carissa, or Danny at High Plains Insurance in Medford and Loyal at 580-395-2447 or toll free at 1-800-346-4056 for a quote today.
Imagine a school with more than 26,000 enrollments per year, cultivating opportunities for students to develop new skills and gain industry-recognized certification. Now imagine a corporate training center that partners with more than 500 local businesses each year, providing a productive and prepared workforce for employers in Oklahoma through customized training. Now imagine a community resource who believes our business thrives when our community thrives. We aren't just the local Votech, we are Autry Technology Center.
Nahara swings his leg, approaches, and gets a high bounce on the onside kick, and it's still free. Wolverines may have gotten the football. That is a terrific onside attempt by Nicholas Nahara. As it bounced high, went off of the fingertips of Blake Hammett. And Garber is saying that is their football. All this taking place, as you can see, right in front of the Covington Douglas bench. And it is recovered by Garber. How about this turn of events, Adam? All of a sudden they have it 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line with 8:48 to play.
Well, just great execution there. We talked about that. We've been watching people kind of squib kick all night, and none of them have looked like they've even meant to squib them, and that time that was perfectly done.
That was as good of an onside kick as you'll see.
Man, look at that other score in 8, man. How about Regent Prep 48, Walika 48?
Wow.
That'd be a fun one to cover, wouldn't it?
Trenton Hoops and Nicholas Nahara are out there in this package. Seth Smith is the tight end, just behind the right side of the line of scrimmage. Bishop from the Covington Douglas 41. Hands off to Trenton Hoops, and he is cut down as he gets inside the 40 to the 37-yard line, a gain of 4. Cash Pearson, another tackle in his ledger tonight. That takes us under 8.5 minutes to play, 38-12. Second down and 6. Ball square in the middle of the field. Garber going from right to left. This snap rolls back to Carson Bishop. He's in trouble and somehow finds a little bit of a seam and gets inside the 35 down to the 33-yard line. Going to bring up 3rd down and 2 in what very well could have been a play for loss.
Well, they've struggled with the snap all night long. We've talked about that, but great job by Carson there to pick it up and make something out of nothing.
3rd down and 2 at the 33-yard line. Airliner to play, 7:47 from Garber and Warrendale Stadium. 38-12 our score. Smith lined up tight end right, Hoops in the backfield to the right of Carson Bishop. That one bounces back to Carson again. He's in trouble breaking tackles, and I think he got the 1st down. He did, not by much, and then Gavin Hooten almost took his head off.
The run is going for a Garber Wolverine. 1st down and 10.
1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. Clock continues to roll. We're under 7.5 minutes to play. He just stepped away. Mark Bishop, a 70-yard kickoff return. Nahara with a perfectly executed onside kick that was recovered by the Wolverines, and now they have it at the Covington Douglas 31. Another low snap. Bishop hands it off, this time to Hoops behind left guard. And he falls forward to the 26-yard line. That's going to be a gain of almost 5. Bring it up second down and manageable. You need some quick strikes, though. I mean, we're under 7 minutes to play, and you're trailing by 26 points.
Hoops has looked good running the ball tonight.
Yes. Didn't have him in the stat sheet coming in. Now it's Mark Bishop in the backfield. Carson Bishop shovels it forward. That's the Trenton Hoops who slipped, and it's probably that's actually Seth Smith. He's going to lose a yard to the 26. It's probably just as well he went down and slipped because Gavin Hooten, who's been headhunting tonight, was coming for him again.
What a fantastic job again by Covington. Getting your reads, staying home, and making a tackle for a loss.
6:06 to play from Garber. Third down along 6. Loss of almost 2 back to the 27-yard line. Bishop in the backfield. Carson gets a low snap again. Wants to throw. Does. Near side. Incomplete. Gavin Hooten came up and put a pop that time on the intended target, Seth Smith, and he's feeling that when you can see him with his hands on his hips as he got up and took a couple of steps.
Hooten has been all over the place for Covington. He has been a star on the defensive side of the ball for the Wildcats tonight.
4th and 7. Garber at the Covington Douglas 27-yard line. They need to get to the 21 to keep the drive alive. 5:58 to play in the football game. Smith, Mark Bishop, Ramirez all split wide right. Empty backfield. Carson Bishop looking, coming left. Now he's got some running room. He has a first down inside the 20, and Bishop is out of bounds at the 18-yard line. That is a gain of 9. And now the Wolverines have it inside the Wildcat red zone.
Great job there by Carson, being patient, not forcing anything, and just waiting until he had an opportunity, seeing the opportunity, getting a first down, continuing this drive.
Line of scrimmage at the 19-yard line. He was out of bounds, so the clock stops. 5:51 to play. This game certainly hasn't lacked for interest. It has been a very entertaining football game. More so if you're rooting for the blue and white than if you are for the maroon and silver. Garber, though, trying to put together a furious fourth-quarter comeback. They toss it left to Mark Bishop, and Bishop breaking tackles, almost took it to the house. He was stood up by Justin Hooten, who about had him to the ground, and then he took Hooten for a ride, and then Justice finally gets him down at the 11-yard line, a gain of 8, second and short.
Great job keeping his legs turning on by Mark Bishop there.
Ball officially at the 12, so give him 7. It's second down and 3, and he did most of that after contact. 5:18 and counting to play. Garber inside the red zone deep at the 12-yard line. Can they finish the drive off? Carson Bishop gets the snap. Now he'll keep it on a quarterback draw, and Blake Hamlet jumps on his back and spins him down. Not much blocking that time, not much resistance by Covington Douglas's or Garber's offensive front. I was talking about the offensive line for the Wildcats, and they're going to get better. They will. But that defensive front has really been good tonight.
Yeah, they've been very stout. They don't really have too many big guys up front. They got some good, stocky, speedy guys, and they got bigger linebackers in there. But no, I agree. They've been very impressive.
202, 185, and 193. There are 3 down linemen among starters tonight. Third down, a couple at the 11-yard line. Carson Bishop fakes the handoff. Now he makes a cut in the backfield, and he submarines down. It's going to be close to the first down.
I think they're going to give it to him.
It's going to bring up first down and goal to go for the Wolverines.
And that was
Cooper Sherman was the one that finally got him to the ground. Line of scrimmage will be at the 9-yard line, so it's first down and goal to go from there. If your name is Bishop, there's a good chance with Howry out, you're going to be touching the ball, either Mark or Carson, 90% of the plays. They go with an extra blocker in the backfield. That's Seth Smith. Low snap again. Carson Bishop has it. He is hit at the 7, spins to the 5. Bring up second down and goal to go as the clock continues to wind, now under 4 minutes to play. Cooper Sherman with his second consecutive stop for the Covington Douglas defense. Second and goal to go from the 5-yard line.
I really like this fight from Garber here. Obviously,
too.
Down 4 scores or 3 scores at least, and still showing a lot of fight and trying to punch it in here.
Bishop in a pistol formation. Carson to throw left, and the ball incomplete and very close to pass interference. Gavin Hooton drug the intended receiver, Domingo Ramirez, to the turf, but as you could see, it was just as the ball was getting there, so no flag. It's going to bring up 3rd down and goal to go, so 2 chances for 5 yards right here. "81-degree night," felt like 85 degrees. Partly cloudy skies when we commenced at 7 o'clock. The renewal of a rivalry that extends back generations. 9-mile drive between Garber and Covington.
I think there was actually a hold there on that last play.
Okay, I missed it.
I did too.
So it's 1st down and goal to go from the 3.
I think it's 2nd and goal from the 3.
That's right, it's 2nd down and goal to go from the 3. Mark Bishop to the right of Carson Bishop. He stands tall, throws it over the middle, and the ball is
dropped.
Incomplete. He dropped it. It hit him right in the hands. Cooper Hughes was the intended target, and now it's 3rd down and goal to go from the 3. Cooper Hughes was named to the preseason All-Class B team by Vipe. He, along with Brett Howry, both top 100 players. 3rd and goal to go.
There it is.
And off to Mark Bishop, and he'll walk in for the touchdown. There was some good blocking. On the left side, they just cleared it out, and Mark Bishop has his 3rd touchdown of the night. And it's a 3-score game with 3:11 to play.
Great job up front blocking by Garber. Really good drive there by the Wolverines. Showing a lot of fight, trailing by 20-plus points, punching in the end zone.
Covington Douglas is going to have to defend yet another onside kick attempt as Garber lines up for 2. Ball was juggled by Carson Bishop, and then he slides down. There should have been a flag right there, as Bishop already had conceded the play, and then Blake Hamlet came in and hit him kind of late. So the try for 2 fails. We'll step aside. 3:11 to go from Garfield County. 38-18. Covington Douglas over arch rival Garber here with the High Plains Insurance Squirtle Game of the Week.
Stream with Oklahoma's #1 high school streaming service, Squirtle.tv. Find out more at Squirtle.com/stream.
Is your school or booster club looking for ways to fundraise? Let Downtown Threads create a custom website to showcase all your school apparel. You pick the design and the garment, we do the rest. We will handle all the payments and cut you one check when the website is closed. Call today, 580-237-7060. Downtown Threads, proudly supporting all local high school athletes.
Ready to get back in the game? Great news. The movement experts at Physical Therapy Central can help you find relief and results and keep you off the sidelines. With over 30 convenient locations across Oklahoma City and beyond, contact PT Central today at ptcentral.org to see a physical therapist.
Nahara has done it once. Can he do it again? Covington Douglas has not had the football since the 9-minute mark here in the 4th quarter. There's 3:11 to go. Nahara kicks it to the near side. It takes another big hop, and this time it will be recovered and out of bounds by Camden Thayer. Tell you what, Nahara has done as good of a job on the 2 onside kicks here in the 4th quarter as you'll see.
That was a great one there, too.
First and 10 at the 38-yard line for the Wildcats with 3:09 to play. They firmly have this game in control. Now you want to work on the clock. 2 receivers left and right. They fake the handoff. Ford Smith gets out of the grasp. Now he'll run right and just heaves it out of bounds. They had him dead to right. It was Jackson Weibling that maybe was the one that had him. I mean, they were starting to sling him to the ground, and somehow Ford Smith stayed on his feet. 2nd and 10 at the 38-yard line.
Boy, we got a big-time battle there at Wacomas. Pond Creek leads Wacomas 36-34.
3 minutes to play. Here it's 38-18. Ford Smith on his own read keeps it. He runs into one defender, not going to get free of the second. And he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. It's going to be 3rd down and 10. Both teams still have their full complement of timeouts. Garber yet to use one with 2:45 to play and counting here in the ballgame. So it's 3rd down and 10 at the 38-yard line, a 20-point Covington Douglas lead. The closest that Garber has been was at 12-6. It was 20-6 at halftime. And then the Wolverines have put a furious second-half rally together, and they have to be wondering where they would have been had they've been able to convert on 2 drives to start the second half that bogged down to the opposition's end of the field. Ford Smith will throw to the near side. Thayer with the catch. Thayer breaking tackles, stretch it out near side boundary, will not get there. He's down to the 47-yard line, a yard short. Now let's see what Brian Smith does with 2 minutes and counting to play in the ballgame.
I'm going to guess that he goes for it.
I think so, too.
Probably let the clock run down and then
call a timeout.
Yep.
Surprised Garber's not using a timeout?
No, I don't think with 20 points. I think that's pretty tough to come back from.
Yeah, but you have them.
Sure.
4th and a yard at the 47-yard line. Play clock still at 12. Ford Smith awaiting the snap back. Minute and a half to play. Covington Douglas looks like they're going to improve to 5-0 on the season. Hooten in motion to the far side. Ford Smith will keep it. A 1st down and more. Midfield 45, and a good tackle that time by Carson Bishop. Ford Smith jumped right in front of Bishop, who didn't bite, and he twists him down to the 44. And that will do it with 70 seconds to play.
Oh, great game for Covington. They've looked good so far this year. This is the second time that we've seen them. First game of the year against Timberlake, and obviously this game, I see improvements from that first game too as well. Much more dynamic on the offensive side of the ball. The biggest thing to me is defensively. I think that they're much better defensively this year than we've seen them in the past, and they tackle really well.
Ford Smith will take a knee at the 49-yard line. They had a safety back behind the play that time. That was Gavin Hooten, about 7 yards, just in case of a high snap, and that's going to do it. So the final score tonight will be Covington Douglas 38 and Garber 18. We'll be back to say goodnight right after this final break on the High Plains Insurance Squirtle Game of the Week.
At Maples Nixon Diesel Horse, we've helped a lot of people, and our goal was to treat each and every person like a friend. And as a friend, we've got your back always. We understand what you're going through. Being lawyers is what we do, but it's not all that we are. We care. We'll stand beside you throughout the entire legal process, not just as lawyers, but as your friends. We are Maples Nixon Diesel Horse, and we are here to help.
There you see the two teams going through the handshake line. Another chapter of the War on 74s in the books, and tonight it was all Covington Douglas, 38-18. Adam, let's start with the Wildcats. I think Brian Smith will be happy, but there's things they need to clean up on. But you know what? You're 5-0, and you just beat your biggest rival on the schedule pretty soundly in their own barn.
Well, and I think it's a tough situation. I mean, everybody knew the scenario coming into this game, what Garber was dealing with their injuries. Between you and I think Covington is a really good team. I think Covington has a great opportunity to win the district. I'm really excited about that game against Sealing. I think that's going to be a great matchup for them. I think the biggest thing to me in this game is just, you talked about it too quite a bit, Todd, the different kind of players and all the different athletes that Covington has on both sides of the ball. Offensively, they're very dynamic. They can run the ball. They obviously can pass the ball. And then the biggest thing, defense. Really been impressed with their defense. I love how they tackle. I love how they swarm to the ball. This is a team you could see far down the road in the playoffs.
As for Garber, I think there's a lot of good they can take from this ball game. They obviously made too many mistakes to beat a team the caliber of Covington Douglas, but you continue to have more and more time with Carson Bishop behind center. A lot of things that they can do, and they can be very, very tough going forward for a lot of teams in Class B District 2 to have to try and defend.
I just saw a lot of fight from Garber tonight. You know, they were dealt a blow with some injuries, and I felt like the guys that had to fill into spots that normally aren't used to that. It took them a little while to get going, but I felt like in the second half they looked much better. That last drive that they had, showed a lot of fight from them. I think ultimately down the road, even with the injuries that they have, being able to get Blazer back, obviously they're not going to get Howery back for a while, but I think they have enough pieces, a good enough line, a good enough coaching staff, a good enough team to make it to the playoffs and to be a team you wouldn't want to play in the playoffs.
Let me just compliment everybody from both teams for what I just saw. After a hard-fought battle between two schools less than 10 miles apart, they don't like each other. They respect each other. They don't like each other. It's called a rivalry. But they took time side by side to kneel and have a prayer after tonight's game. Folks, that's what high school football is and should be about.
No doubt. A lot of class on both sides from these staffs and these schools and communities and administrators, and two great programs, two great schools, and all class.
Final score, final time, Covington Douglas now 5-0, Garber 2-2, Covington Douglas a 38-18 winner. Next week, I'll be on the road at Perkins Tryon for Perkins and Metro Christian. Until then, for Adam Dieselhorst, I'm Todd Miller, the Squirtle crew, saying good night from Garber.